it, folks. It's a do-or-die game for the Toronto Polar Bears as they try to tie the series and move on to the OBHA Finals. And that could all be stopped tonight if St. Mike's wins the game, and they'll be walking away with this baby right here, the OBHA Premier Ball Hockey Cup. For more information on how that game is going to happen tonight and all the excitement, let's send it upstairs for commentators Anthony Regan and Dan the General Rinaldi. Guys?
Thank you very kindly. General, when we were talking just prior to the game, you said, boy, that's a spiffy-looking trophy down there Ron's holding. He looks even more handsome carrying the hardware.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? I was just thinking, it never gets old, eh? I mean, I've been there, I've done it, but I'm getting goosebumps again, you know what I mean? Just looking at that and the excitement that these teams must be feeling in the dressing room.
Right.
You got the Polar Bears who were trying to send this to Game 3, having taken a bit of a shellacking in Game 1 at the hands of St. Mike's. Yeah. And you got St. Mike's that definitely wants to close the deal tonight, Anthony.
Yeah, they certainly do. Well, the Polar Bears, let's start with them as well. Monday, it was 3-0 for St. Mike's. By about halfway through the first, it was 10:32 of the first, 3-0. So Tony Talevsky scores 14 seconds later, but it was the only goal for the Bears. Mike Kuzi had himself an outstanding game since he came over last year from the Niagara Ironmen. Kuzi had 2 goals, 4.5 minutes apart, and an assist for a 3-point night for him. He pretty much led the charge. Now, Gus Kalaitis didn't appear in the second half there. They brought in Alex Leakopoulos to take over when it was 5-1. He made 12 saves, surrendered just 1 goal. Interestingly enough, General, after all the rough stuff that we've seen in our broadcasts, Game 1 of the final, just 3 penalties, 4 minutes and 4 minutes.
Yeah, and that doesn't surprise me at all because, I mean, when you get down to the end, the last 2 teams, these guys have come a long way. Yeah. First of all, Anthony, they're tired. They're beat up. They've been through the ringer. You know, they've beaten up some pretty good clubs to get here.
Yes.
And Gus Kalaitis has been the best player in the playoffs as far as I'm concerned throughout this tournament and for his team. And, yeah, he had a bit of a blip on the radar last game. And I'll tell you right now, the best goalie wins. And if he can be the best goalie tonight, then he's got an opportunity to be the best goalie next week. And, you know, it's going to be tough, but he's going to have to be their guy.
Jeff Wilson still not in the lineup, of course, for the Toronto Polar Bears. Without his veteran presence, are they going to have an easy time? They're an opportunistic club. We know that Jeff Wilson sort of hides in the weeds. He waits there. He scores opportunistic goals. How do they fare without him here in Game 2?
Well, you know what? I think this game that the Polar Bears played the other night that they dropped 6-1 as we take a look at these teams just running around, and the Polar Bears were out early, eh?
Yeah.
So they're trying to get that momentum back. I think that they were a little bit excited after their semifinal victory to get to the show. I think maybe it was a little bit of a letdown. Maybe they celebrated a little bit too much. It got to them. They were starting to think maybe a little step ahead. So I think you're going to see this Polar Bear team kind of retool themselves tonight. They're going to get down to basics. They're going to play that let's all play together style of game rather than worry about or wait for a guy like Jeff Wilson or one guy to do it all. And I think you're going to see Okapinti jump to the rescue. You're going to see Kalaitis rebound back from a big game. And
what about the Monahans?
The Monahans are going to have to step up because they've been solid throughout the playoffs. So there's Mr. DeVizio with the little guy there.
Oh, what a sweetheart!
Yeah, one of the fans in the stands tonight, and I'll tell you, they're going to be a different club tonight, and you wait and see what's going to happen.
That's what I was thinking because the Polar Bears that showed up, I had a good chat with a few of them. Chris Manos in particular, he said he felt like he was 14 again watching his last game when they beat the Express there. And talking with Bobby Dunlop after the game in which they beat the Express, he said some of these guys have been waiting close to 20 years to take a victory away from Brampton because they're just so darn powerful.
Well, you're right, and you know what? We underestimate the fact that both of these teams have never been here. And to be here is one thing, but to have it so close and to be able to, taste that bubbly that they're going to have at the end of the night, if St. Mike does win through that cup, I mean, it's almost it's too good to believe. So sometimes they're going to squeeze those sticks a little tighter. The other team's going to have to come out. They're going to play a little goosey, a little loosey, and maybe do some different things tonight and maybe relax. So it's going to be a totally different game than game one.
I certainly think it is, and indeed, and as you said, the Polar Bears came out. They were early on the floor. The first one out on the floor, Sean McCalla was here rather early. He's out there warming up right now, taking some shots, and what a save by Kalaitis. That's where they're going to need him to do there. Oh, sorry, that's Liakopoulos, who's in net right now, getting some warm-up time. Gus was out there first, indeed. No, that is Gus in net. Sorry, Liakopoulos is out at the blue line. Is he not 31?
Yes.
Okay, so Kalaitis is in net, getting his warm-ups in. Chris Manos was here, and they're all here, and they were here very early, ready for the game. They said they didn't show up in game one. I think it was going to be a different story.
Yeah, and I was talking to a couple of guys off the floor here before the game came in a little bit earlier, and to a man, they're all talking about, okay, it's all hands on deck tonight.
That's right.
We really didn't show up last game.
Right.
We're not happy with our performance, and we're better than this. We've showed it. We proved it. Okay, but now we're going to have to play this game tonight and reestablish ourselves as a championship team.
So let's go ahead a little bit now and say the Polar Bears have a chance to even the series 1-1. Is there still a favorite? Because I'm wondering if St. Mike's has a bit of momentum.
Well, you know what? It's not going to be easy. St. Mike's has been probably down the stretch one of the most consistent teams in the league.
Gotcha.
They play well in all three ends of the rink. They've got great goaltending in Anthony Flores, who's carried, the mail, as they say.
Yes.
Okay, delivered the mail for them.
Right.
And as long as he plays solid between the pipes, defensively, they really don't give up that many opportunities. They're not weak in the defensive zone. And I'll tell you, Anthony, this is one thing that people overlook, too. Even though it's a non-contact game, they have a distinct size advantage against a team like the Polar Bears because they're a little bigger, they're a little stronger, a little bit more physical on the ball.
Younger, too, right?
Yeah, and you know what? Remember we talked about this last week, the deceptive skill and speed that they have. Sometimes you don't see it, but all of a sudden it just kind of explodes.
Well, we saw that.
From the back end, right?
Yeah.
You know, you got the Barbas guy, the Barbas boys. You got Mark Elvidge, big boy. He plays tough. DeVizio, who, you know, he settles everything down back there on the blue line. You know, and let's talk about Danny Novas. How many clutch goals has he scored?
Power play goals, he led the league.
Yeah,
right?
and he's just solid back there. So I mean, they got a lot of guys that step up, like John Jamara, who has played a big role as well. You know, so these guys here have been around. They know. So the experience, we have to give it to them. Do they have the momentum? Absolutely. But the Polar Bears are going to have to find a way to get one early tonight, take it away, and then hold on to it.
Right, like they did against Brampton.
Absolutely.
And they did against the Vaughan Red Wings. They had to get that lead and hang on to it.
And to me, in a short 2 out of 3 series, as we see the team shaking hands here before the game, that's the key. And they have to get back to what got them here. And right now, that's going to be their biggest challenge. And when you're talking about Coach Moniz, who had a little conversation with you, he went in for a little surgery. He's still on recovery, so he still won't be behind the bench, unfortunately. But Bobby Dunlop's done a great job.
Now, he's out there shooting
he was just boy, he's got a bit of a rocket, too, off to the right side there on the wrong wing. There. We saw him burying a couple in the top corner.
Right-hand shot, left side of the floor. He was letting a few go, wasn't he?
Yeah. So he's got a big job tonight, too, because he's got to bring them back after that 6-1 loss. So.
That's right. He showed up early as well. Talking about Rob Moniz there, I asked him about his club and being a little bit older. He said they have all come together. This is his first year as a coach, of course, and they bought into the hard-working ethic, and he said older is not necessarily a negative. He said we've had our success and we've moved through to the finals thanks to the veterans. And he said when you have a full team and a full roster on your bench, that provides success. The team starts to play in an unselfish manner. Everybody knows their job.
Well, listen, I'm not going to tell you how old I was when I hung him up for the last time, but it was in 1992 when we won our first provincial and went on to the national.
That's right.
And it took me 16 years before I, even had a sniff at that, that cup, or I saw it from a distance. So a lot of these guys are in the same boat, and you know what, age may be a factor, but it's a mental thing. And you know what, some of these guys, the older guys, are in better shape than the younger guys. They work harder, they got more to prove, and you know what, they're proud of it as we take a look at the starting lineups tonight for the game.
Anthony Flores is getting the start. Daniel Medeiros, the backup role. Alex Liakopoulos getting the backup role for the Bears. Gus Kalaitis is getting the start. They're doing the official announcements, too. And you know the two officials out on the floor, Mr. Myers and Mr.
Pat
Mintz.
Myers, yep, absolutely. And Darcy Mintz, they brought in two big boys, and two of the finest officials in the OBHA to make this thing a go tonight. And but as we've seen in the few games, Anthony, the officiating really hasn't been the issue.
No, it's not been an issue at all.
No, because teams are settling down. They're playing ball hockey. And remember what we said? as the season goes on, you're going to see the true colors of the team come out, and they have. The two best teams in the regular season, okay, weren't necessarily here, but the ones who really put it together at the end, okay, like you say, momentum, carried it forward, and now are doing all the right things. A little more discipline, a little more defense, and two darn good goalies that we've got between the pipes tonight.
This should be a real good battle on the floor. And as we said, it was played to the Al Palladini on Monday, game 1. So there's no different, floor conditions to deal with. And one of the things that Giorgio Occhipinti was saying to me before the game was, he said, it's funny, it looks a little slower because the floor's so big. I said, just making a D-to-D pass can buy you about 5 minutes of time, it seems.
Yeah, and you know what? Sometimes adjusting to the different arenas that these guys play in throughout the year, it becomes a factor. But as we get down the stretch, the league has done a great job. We gotta talk about Dominic DiGeronimo and Mauro Cugini, the president of Ontario Ball Hockey Association Commissioner, La Russa. They have put these two teams in here and made sure that the teams that have been in the playoffs have been dealt with fairly and justly. And by doing so, they put them in the arena here at Al Pal's in as many games as possible so they can acclimatize themselves and make it fair. So it's been a great run for both of these clubs.
Certainly has. Keep an eye on number 9 in the double blue there. He's on at the bottom of your screen. He's playing left wing. He's a right-handed shot, so he's playing the off wing. 2 goals in 4.5 minutes, an apple as well, so 2 goals and a helper as water from Tony Talevski comes out to Gus Kalaitis, and we are set to go. The officials ready to drop. I've been told, don't call it the P. A few players said they can't stand that term, so we're going to drop the orange.
Wow. From Florida?
Yes, exactly. Anita Bryant special. There's an opportunity. And speaking of that, that's one thing that I said about the Polar Bears is I said to Romanese, you guys are an opportunistic club, aren't you? And he said, yes. Nothing wrong with that.
No, absolutely not. And we're going to need a big game, Moniz was saying, from the likes of, the big men in their lineup, starting with John Toh on defense, who has been solid throughout these playoffs, and he's going to have to step up and play a big role, not only as a veteran, but as a defensive guy.
Good pass to Kuzi, a backhand shot coming through, scores! Somehow it got through on the 5-hole, so Kuzi opens up the scoring on the very first shot on net. It doesn't bode well for the Bears.
That's not the start that the Polar Bears wanted, a very unassuming, innocent-looking play, and Kuzi comes over the blue line, and you know what? He'll do what most guys will say is just take the shot, and nothing but good things can happen when you send it to the net, and I'm sure that Kalaitis would like to have that one back as we take a look at Kuzi. Just come over, look at this. He just snaps it, and kind of caught Kalaitis paying a little bit too much attention to the player who was drawing towards the far post. So.
Well, Kuzi sort of looked like he may have been thinking pass, and Zuccaro's got the ball right now, who fed it out in front, and there we go. Swept away. Sean McCallow's back on it, number 11, settling things down. The lanky forward plays it over to the left side defense. Up the middle they come. Chris Manos now. Oh, his pass got picked off. Here comes John Macri. John Macri got stopped, and there's a loose ball. Kuzi's on it. Kalaitis may be in a little bit of discomfort there as he came out to challenge and poke check his man. It looked like, was it Mike Barbas?
Added difficulty there in the back line as we take a look at the goaltender sprawled down on the floor. And this comes right after that early goal by Kuzi and a miss. I don't know what he was thinking there. And he just kind of looked at him. He had the guy that was there. He knew he wanted to pass it to him, but there was a St. Mike's player standing right between him and the pass. And here's the tail end of that one on the replay. And what a nice save. And then he gets probably a little stick there in the back, or kicked in the back of the head there, and he's down. And hopefully he's going to be okay and finish this game, because the bad news is that they're down 1-0, and so is their goalie.
Yeah.
The good news is that there's 18:52 left in the first period, and he's getting up, and that's all smiles all around here.
Tiana's right there helping him up. As is Chris Manos. Here comes Macri. There's a different angle. You'll see he stumbles over him right there.
I think Macri was more surprised that he got the ball right onto his tape. Yeah. And he had so much room right in from the blue line, a clear-cut breakaway. So maybe a little bit too much time to think about that one, but a really nice save by Kalaitis, who came out the challenge. And then the ensuing collision, he took the worst of it as Coach Dunlop's out there taking a look at him and assessing the situation, along with a couple of the other Polar Bears who are very concerned.
Well, they're having a good word with him here because, as we said, it looked like Macri, not on purpose, as Alex Liakopoulos is now out stretching in case he's needed. So the officials will give some time.
I think you're right. He may have taken a shot in the back of the
helmet,
the coconut there, and you know, shooken him up a little bit because he doesn't seem to be favoring anything in the lower extremities. He's trying to get his senses kind of back. He looks a little bit dazed. Yeah, exactly. So hopefully he'll be okay. Maybe it's a little bit of time. And we take a look at this here in slow-mo, and he comes in
there,
and there it is, the knee.
Right there.
Clipped him in the back of the helmet. You're right.
Great job by our camera crew once again.
Different angle there. We couldn't see it from the first shot, and you're absolutely right. So we're...
I'm just letting Coach Moniz know exactly. I'm turning the monitor so he can see what happened. We saw on a separate replay, our third effort, that it was Macri's knee. It's going to be Liakopoulos coming in. Kalaitis is going to be done.
Well, Liakopoulos handled himself very, very well in game one, having to come in down 5-1 and only surrendered 1 goal.
Yeah, he made a few saves,
too. He made 12 saves to keep his team in there and gave them an opportunity to come back, but they just couldn't find the back of the net. And the result, well, that's history. So we wish him and actually Kalaitis the best of luck in this recovery. Hopefully he'll be back.
Hopefully he will, for sure. We'll have to see. McCallah's now got it. And here they come. McCallah got one of the Mignoses and Talevski with him. Here we are. It's Claudio Mignosa. Now Claudio walking up the middle. Sees a man. Gets it to him on the left side. Here's a chance. Shot coming. Hits a body in front. Rebound comes to the right side point. Shot spins fronts. There's whacking and hacking at it. The ball goes down the length of the floor. Liakopoulos is out, and he watches it. But it was his own player that may have cleared it down the length of the floor. He was hoping for an icing, didn't get it. 2 minutes into this final, Miltiadu plays this one for Chris Manos. He gets the call. Giorgio Ocopinti called for it, got the P. Ben Moore lost it, trying to go around his man. That should be a glove pass, I thought. They're not, so it's okay inside their own zone, though. Here we go, St. Mike's with another opportunity. Chiragakos with his shot. That's wide of the mark for Captain William. Goes off the stick to Al Moore. Giorgio Ocopinti with an indirect pass for Ben Moore. And we got Ocopinti all alone in front. He's dying for another opportunity to do an interview, and he nearly does. Oh, Flores just robbed Ben Moore. Get out of town. Moore was parked in the slot. Seemed like he had the open net. Flores had other plans.
And you know what? I don't understand why they don't keep coming back with this line every second shift, because they seem to have the energy, okay, and the wherewithal to move that ball with a little bit of precision. And we take a look at the replay here. Moore coming off the boards, presence of mind to throw it back to Ocopinti, goes into space, and look at him right to the backhand. Great shot, great save. And here comes a spinner in here. Look at this. Look at that save. There's the save right there.
That's the one.
Wow.
Save of the game right
there. That's not a game saver this early. I don't know what is.
Me either. Around his man. Down the floor. Al Moore's got it now. Down. And icing is called as Sandro Mignosa made a gesture to the officials. It looked like he was sort of held up there on the blue line.
And early on, you got a little bit of mixing and matching here with the line combinations. Coach Dunlop has the Mignosa brothers broken up here. I mean, not that I don't like this line that he's got together here, but those are another group of guys that are really going to have to step up tonight and as you want to say, be the man.
Right.
Because this team relies heavily on their offense, and when they go, this team can go as well. So we look for a big game from Sandro, Claudio, and Moro.
Indeed, they're one of the Mignosas out there right now. This would be Sandro with Chris Monahan, who won the draw in his own zone. There's his brother, Justin Monahan. But here comes his numerical counterpart, Johnny Jamara now. Plays it over to the open wing. William Chiragakos runs into a little bit of trouble. Johnny toe-sized. Chiragakos gets on his horse. Hard around. Pat Miller plays it up and ahead. That was for Justin Monahan. Monahan's older brother Chris is in there as well. He's battling his man. Chris Monahan now. Got a man, a trailer coming off the bench. It was, pardon me, it wasn't off the bench. Sandro Mignosa. Now here comes St. Mike's the other way. It's Macri again. No, it's Zuccaro. Shot right on. Leakopoulos got the stop. Gave up a rebound. Pat Miller with it now. Backhands it up to McCalla. McCalla's got some foot speed. Watch him go. He's one of the fastest, and he goes down. Looking for a trip. None coming. Mike Kuzi with it. I'm hearing feedback. Is that the microphone on the box has been left open, I think? Miltiadu. Indirect pass. Moves it ahead. Sean McCalla once again. Hits the trailer. Okay, the guy who's in the box just realized that he left the mic on. It's a good thing he wasn't on his phone talking to the wife. Zuccaro now. He's got a man going to the net. Shot coming, doesn't get past McCalla, who blocked it. Now they've got a couple of options down the floor. Here we go. Fired in. After it now is Claudio Mignosa, and you had a chance to talk to Claudio prior to the game, and he mentioned his father was quite happy to hear.
Yeah, still one of the few families that actually sits down and has a meal together on the Sunday, and they actually took in the broadcast, and we're happy to hear their names and a few comments that we made, and it's nice to see that the Mignosas are still avid ball hockey fans and watch us every week.
Indeed, and John DeVizio's dad is here, and we saw him with the little girl right before the game as well. So lots of parents very proud of their
the other
kids.
DeVizio's playing in the AA finals tomorrow night, which would be the Thursday, and they had a tough loss in the Canada Cup in the AA division. So
icing as Novus comes down to play it there. It was a pass from Ben Moore to Giorgio Occhipinti that didn't connect. So there's new fresh troops on the floor for both these teams. Settle down into an easy flow, isn't it, this kind of game? And it always does.
Well, I think that first goal kind of unnerved the Polar Bears a little bit. Now they've kind of gotten back into a nice little bit of a flow.
Right.
Okay, Leakopoulos is in net. They don't have any qualms with him being between the pipes because the goaltending's been good all season with these guys. It's just that Kalaitis has just been on such a roll that it's tough to pull a guy like that out.
Exactly. Backdoor man gets it done right there. Beautiful pass. Macri, I do believe.
Yeah, John Macri, number 18, camped out on the far dot and caught the Polar Bear defense backing up as we take a look at here on the replay. And look at this, nice little one-timer right across, and he makes no mistake getting down on the one knee to make sure he just hits the net. And 14-19 left in the period, and we've got a 2-0 lead, and might be time for a timeout to settle things down here for the Polar Bears.
You said that the Polar Bears like to capitalize on getting a bit of a lead. They're an opportunistic club, and let's see how they play now. They follow the leader a little bit. They, in their games that they've had success against the Red Wings and the Express, have held an early lead and held on to it, right?
Well, that's the key to this kind of a transition game. A team that plays a transition game such as they do. You've got to get up early. You can't rely on having to come back too far behind anyway.
Nope. There's an opportunity right now as Leakopoulos is about to be tested. Al Moore, though, got in the way and broke up the pass. Justin Monahan. I just started to hear feedback again. I started to worry. And they missed entirely the person who passed the ball to the goal scorer, Kuzi, on the first goal. Here's a chance right now, backdoor. What a save! They celebrated, but no! There was robbery. Sandro Mignosa absolutely got robbed, just like Ben Moore did earlier.
Well, you know what? We talk about goaltending, and I said it before, and I'll say it again, the best goalie wins. And right now, Flores is by far the best goalie, not just in this game, but one that we've seen throughout the playoffs. Look at this save here. This is the second great save that he's made in less than 5 minutes with that right pad as he kicks it out. Just huge. Sandro Mignosa had already had his hands up there in celebration. He'd already gone to his back pocket, taken out the notebook, and put it down as a goal.
Oh, okay.
Just like I marked those birdies before they even go in. And on the golf course.
I know the type.
But here comes the timeout here, and I don't know if it was St. Mike's or the Polar Bears that took it, but
Might be St. Mike's because they're, they got a 2-goal lead.
well,
but
listen, we've seen Alex Bovolitis do this before.
Right.
When his team's up, and despite the
They
fact
were
that
turning over the ball.
they got the lead. That he sees something now that
doesn't like.
Yeah, in the defensive zone, so he's going to slow him down, and that's why he's somewhat animated on the bench right now, talking to his troops. And there in his counterpart, there you got Bobby Dunlap, who already sweating up a storm. This guy's right into the game. He was into the game right from the warm-up, exactly. And you know what? He'd like nothing better for his troops to keep bagging or at least bag one and maybe a couple right afterwards. And listen, if I'm him, I'm just going to tell the guys, keep doing what you're doing, because, I mean, they've only had a couple of opportunities, and unfortunately for the Polar Bears, they've capitalized. But you can't blame the goaltender. Well, Kalaitis probably wants that first one back, but
yeah.
In the case of Liakopoulos, I mean, he's only had a couple shots on net, but you can't blame him on that one-timer. No way.
No, I don't know a lot of goalies that could have got there. Maybe Flores, because for some reason he seems to be able to do the impossible. Here it goes back to the point. Shot coming, it's right on. That one handcuffed Flores. He knew it was coming, but it was also peeling towards the near side post. It was a shot from the right point side that just curved in a little at the last minute.
Yeah, and that was Trent Godin who took that shot. It was a good shot. It was low, it was hard, but no rebound.
Godin shot goes off somebody, and we've got a little fella joining us here in the broadcast booth. You got some help there, Joe?
Little Medeiros, his brother's little boy, coming over. He's driving his little car.
Oh, is that what he's doing?
Yeah, it's
nice. We'll get a shot of him in just a second. So nice to see family members coming out to support one another, eh? Bringing the kids. A lot of girlfriends, wives.
It's truly a game anyone can play. We've been talking about it all year with the minor provincial championships going up to the A, the double A, and the triple A as we see here, and then the best of the best with the Polar Bears taking on St. Mike's, as we see there, with 12 minutes and 49 seconds left in the period, and we got a 2-0 lead.
Giorgio Occhipinti played that one at the blue line. Flores in back of the net, though. They're doing a pretty good job of playing keep away, as here's Elvidge, sporting that playoff mustache. Johnny Cho saw that one and ate it up for breakfast. Here's an opportunity now. They see a man down the floor. That should be icing. It looked like Jim Mara sort of waved at it, and he was somewhere within the postal code, but nowhere near the orange.
Well, I don't think, in my mind, 2 goals is going to win this game.
No.
And I can't see the Polar Bears coming out and having scoring just 1 goal in 2 games. I mean, they only put 1 in the basket in game 1, and they've had great opportunities here. But hello, Mr. Flores has just been unbelievable with 2 what we call amazing stops. Otherwise, this game is tied.
Yeah, it would be tied, or at least 2-1, because Moore should have had a goal on a spinorama move in front, and then this line should have had one as well. Here comes Zucchero. He's got a man with him. Mike Barbas, that would be. Zucchero in back of the net, fending off. Man, it gets back to the point there. Pat Miller, watch it go down. Here's Justin Monahan. He is very fleet-footed. Danny Novus, though. Plays it over the glass. And into touch, as they say.
Good stick by Miller down here. It tells you, it shows you little kids out there, you guys that are learning the game, whether it's on the floor or on the ice. You don't have to get the ball or the puck. You can just work the stick, keep it active, and all he did was knock the blade or the upper part of the shaft, and it came and the ball came off the shaft and released the ball outside the zone. Good defensive play.
That's one of my bread and butters, is the poke check, and it's so effective. When a guy, he thinks he's getting away and he's protecting well, all you got to do is chop the stick and push the puck, or in this case, the ball away. Good job there. And Mr. Mignosa directed the ball towards the net, had some traffic going, including Miltiero. But the whistle sounds with 11:30 to go in the first. Quite a nice, speaking of trophies, we saw the OBHA Premier, the Tier 1 trophy. What about the Canada Cup? You were telling me about that. It was just played in Brampton over the weekend, yeah?
Yeah, our own Brampton Express came away the champions and lifted up this cup, and I was in awe when I saw this thing. It's huge, and it's beautiful. It's almost a replica of a mini Stanley Cup, and very, very nice job that the OBHA did.
Coming close right there, Zucchero calling for it. Had an opportunity. Here we go. Far side. Looking for Claudio Mignosa. Sean McCalla has it now. Backhands it to Kate McCarron, pardon me. The bearded one goes for a bit of a run, goes right up the floor. Throws this one in for McCalla, who's also got some great foot speed. Here's McCalla, one of the quickest there is. There's an opportunity now. Shot coming way out to be in front of it there was Flores. Vignosa now takes a look, can't feed a pass through. In the way was Krisafi. Nice job right there. There's another job, poking the stick. As Kuzi bumps into his man, that's the big fella, Dave McCarron. Oh, Talevsky's nailed along the boards. A little pushing, a little shoving. Kuzi plays a nice pass back for number 12, Brandon Parps. Parps has got Zucker on the far side and Novus. Getting in the way is Al Moore. What a job by that young man. Great job by him. Unable to play it is Rydell Cabezas. Kuzi calling for it. Got the one-timer off wide of the mark, though, helping out Joey Barbas. There's going to be a penalty. Little pushing, little shoving here.
Cabezas is going to go for a slash, and this all started, Anthony, when he made a great play, or at least Moore made a great play sliding back and taking away the 3-on-1, and then Cabezas came in late. He had the ball on his stick, but he failed to clear the zone. He's got to get that ball out. And he's got a penalty. Where's he going? He's going back to the bench trying to mix it up.
No, that was Claudio Vignosa. It's Cabezas.
No, Cabezas is going back to the bench, but he's got to come over here.
Giorgio Ocopinti settled him down.
He's been called for a slash here, and he's put his team in a bit of a hole. And again, I'm saying that it all started with that giveaway. And, you know, sometimes you're within inches or a foot of just getting out of trouble, and you hesitate, and when you're hesitating, you're lost. And
that's right.
They turned it over, and St. Mike's had a good opportunity there, and within the scramble, he took a nice little whack, and he's going to be in the box for 4 minutes or less.
Yeah, and if they score in that time, he serves the whole 4 minutes no matter what, right?
Right, but they'll be able to replace him.
Should St. Mike's, capitalize. Josh Barbas now getting it back from Novus. Shot coming. It was a hard one from Vince Capone. Goes into the corner. Johnny Toe goes in there, nets off the moorings. Liakopoulos bumped it, I would imagine.
Yeah, that shot came off the shaft of his stick, the upper part, and kind of knocked him over. I don't know if there was any interference or anything on the play, but
see the guys behind you?
Take a look at the little guys in the back here watching the screen.
Yeah, they're watching the replays. Yeah.
The ball's going to come outside.
That's what they want.
And this is a huge penalty kill, Anthony. 9:33 left. I mean, they can't afford to go down 3.
No. 3 might be a bit much. Giorgio Ocopinti out to cover his man. He and Ben Moore, the forwards. Chris Manos and Johnny Toe, the D-man. Johnny Toe with a brand new twig, that right-handed stick in his hand. He brought in a wooden one as well. He's been seeing plenty of road hockey action because it was worn right down to nose picker territory. You know what I'm talking about? Those thin blades.
Those ones the guys used to take slicers with.
Yes, and it would curve and dump and dip.
They used to get, the thinner it was, the higher up the ball you could get, because a lot of guys couldn't raise it. Eh?
Yeah, they take the bottom out of the ball. Giorgio Ocopinti with a chance to clear. He gets it off the glass to himself. Can't get past, Josh Barbas, that would be, as Novus goes for a stroll. Novus finds a man. Didn't get the shot off, though. Sprawl effort. Liakopoulos made a great stop. Johnny Toe tries to swat it away. The big fella, William Chugakos, plays it back. Shot coming. Novus, who has so many power play goals, missed the net. I should say power play goals in the regular season.
Well, he's been a force to be reckoned with throughout these playoffs. I mean, him and Chugakos,
yes,
not only are they big in stature, but they just play large. These guys can do it all. They got good foot speed, they got great skill, and you just saw him there, how hard he can shoot the ball. And it's a credit to the goal production that he's had, not just on the power play, but at full strength, as St. Mike's has 2:37 left here to add to their lead.
Well, they've killed off a minute and a half, the Polar Bears have. Divizio plays catch, gets it back once again, him and Elvidge. Elvidge's shot looking for the tip in front. They had Matt Leal in front there and parked off to the side, Emil Ferlizzi.
Yeah, and Leal saw that thing coming. I mean, Elvidge almost mailed it in a slow motion, but he just couldn't get his stick on it. But nice stop. Credit to Liakopoulos for not giving up a rebound there as we see Divizio. Nice feather passing. That's what he does so well. Beautiful timing so that his partner there, Elvidge, can get the one-timer.
Oh, great job there by Monahan. Look at this guy. He's just a force to be reckoned with. But now he's down the floor. St. Mike's owns the zone.
He dumped it on front, Anthony, but there's nobody coming in support.
Exactly.
Mendoza had committed himself to the defensive side.
Why wouldn't you? When you've only got 3 guys other than you out there. One of your guys is down, you and 2 others looking back. Oh, nice job by Liakopoulos as Miltiadou gets it out. Not far enough. Elvidge in front of his own net there. There's a little pushing and shoving in front of the netminder. Liakopoulos there is Ferlizzi. Jockeys for position. Backdoor pass was coming. The net's off. Divizio saw it go wide. Back on it now is Ferlizzi. Elvidge with a shot is wild. Jump ball. St. Mike's comes away with it. Back to the point it goes. Ferlizzi once again to Elvidge. Shot coming. Liakopoulos hangs on. With 1:17 to go and a 4-minute slashing penalty.
And I love the way that St. Mike's has really worked on this power play. They got guys moving in and out, making nice runs. Divizio off of his point comes sliding in, looked for a little back door, then made the pass back. Ferlizzi took his spot on the point, brought it back to Elvidge. They moved the ball very, very well. And not only are they shooting from the top of the diamond, but they've already moved it down low. On a couple of occasions, showed him a different look for a back door.
Backdoor passes, yeah. Danny Novas now. Back to Josh Barbas. Shot gets through everybody. Brandon Parps battling in front with the big fella for position, Pat Miller. Miller, right down on Flores. Those are those ones that can handcuff a goaltender and make you feel terrible.
Well, Flores is really comfortable down there. He's just having a little cappuccino with a little biscotti, and all of a sudden, here comes a ball. He's got to be sharp.
By the way, James loved the Nutella that you gave him. I brought it up to the cottage, and I found him in bed when I came to turn off his light to kiss him goodnight when he was at his little bedtime story. He was in bed with the jar of Nutella. That was so cute. It was beside him on the pillow.
You did tell him he's allowed to open it and eat it.
He did the next morning, trust me.
Okay, good. Okay.
He's loving it.
Don't be one of those fathers with all those rules.
No. Oh, yeah, I like me.
Good.
What's a rule? Here we go, Claudio Minosa. Speaking of dads, putting on a bit of a clinic here. He's working against Barbas. Josh Minosa with 12 seconds to go. What a great job he is doing. In front it goes. Now Claudio's going to head off. And Rydell Cabeza is out of the box right now, back at even strength. So they kill off that penalty. 4-minute one. Al Moore goes into the corner. Novas takes him down. Liakopoulos, Giorgio Occhipinti on the ball. Settle it down. Miller's got it now. Pardon me, McCarron's got it. No, that is Miller. 2 mix on the back end. Miller and McCarron. Giorgio Occhipinti didn't care for the pass as much from Pat Miller. Felt they had a better option than that.
Yeah, he wanted him to move it up there, but...
get it inside the zone, right?
Yeah. But they haven't, you know what, the Polar Bears haven't looked comfortable with the ball tonight. Defensively, they haven't played a bad game, even though they're down a couple of goals. I think they've outchanced their opposition, and you know, the difference in the game right now is Anthony Flores. So let's see if, as we see Danny Novas sitting in the penalty box via the Skype cam that we got hooked up. What a great job there. I love that.
Yeah, that was Ron Mill who's responsible for those. He ran the wiring. There's 2 cameras.
Ronnie, great idea, but there's certain things in there we may not want to see or hear.
We're going to see it, but not hear it.
Oh, okay, there you go. Good. But anyway, the Polar Bears now, who did a great job killing that penalty, a 4-minute one. This could be a momentum switch for them. So they got a couple minutes here to put one in the basket and make this a hockey game.
Vince Capone on Johnny Toe. Toe cool under pressure. Ahead to the elder Minosa. Sandro. Toe in action. Sandro Minosa has it back on the point. Now let's see what he can do with it. Over here it goes. Occhipinti plays it back. He was all ready for this game, Giorgio. He's the first guy on the floor, and he was more than ready to start. In back of the net there, into the corner, Occhipinti's on it. Distributes back to the point, shot coming. Flores makes a great stop. It's cleared by St. Mike's. 1:23 to go, Alex Liakopoulos.
Yeah, and they're gonna have to get more traffic in front of the double blue netminder if they're gonna have any success.
Look at this, Minosa walks in, shot, scores! There it is, baby! Jeff Wilson didn't recharge his boat horn. There it is. Now you're hearing it. Tweet. So power play goal. It's 2-1, my friend.
Well, I said that the Mignoles are going to have to step up here and, make their presence felt. And look at this, Sando. He just does a little pull, little drag, and look at the snapshot there, and buries this one over top of the left hand, over the left shoulder of Anthony Flores. It didn't really have an opportunity. I mean, and that was nice, wasn't that?
It certainly
was. That
was
as good as any mortadella and provolone sandwich with a little pepperoncini on the side. I'll tell you.
See, my favorite.
That was nice. That was a beautiful goal.
My favorite was provolone and hot capicola.
Yeah, well, mortadella, capicola, you know, whatever you want. That's fine.
As long as it's sliced.
It was beautiful. Anyway.
It was not as beautiful as the way Dave McCarron got in, put a shoulder, if you will, into John Macri. Big fella is not shy about mixing it up a little. Here's a set play into the corner for McCalla. He's there. Can they free the ball? They can't. Flores gets out to the blue line. Here's a trade-off here as Macri. McCarron stays stride for stride with Macri. Capone now tries to go around his man. Capone. Liakopoulos makes the stop and hangs on. Great job.
Wow.
It's getting interesting.
And you know what? We talked about Capone being relatively absent in these playoffs. Look at this. What a great move and a great play there. And he got around Miltiadu there as if he was just non-existent. Yeah, just standing there. Made him into a turnstile. And what a great save by Liakopoulos.
I like the turnstile comment.
Oh, my. That was like the ones that down at Honested's.
Yes. I know the ones.
Yeah. You got to be careful of those. Sometimes it can be dangerous. But what a great move, but even better save by Liakopoulos. And boy, we see the momentum shift here in the game. All St. Mike's early with the opportunities they've had, and they've cashed in. And now all of a sudden, Polar Bears, they kill a 4-minute penalty. They score in the power play, and we got ourselves a contest.
It's a brand new game. Polar Bears looking to get something happening here as Mauro Minosa closes on his man. Long pass coming. Trying to hook up Ben Moore. His brother Al's got the orange now. Plays it ahead. Here we go. In and over. Shot coming. Why not take a shot? And almost another goal there. Right now, Cabeza in back of the net. Cabeza now protecting. Plays this one into the corner, giving chase Mauro Minosa. Minosa protecting. He's working against John Crisafi. Give and go. Here's Ben Moore. Shot right on Flores. Another outstanding stop. They were looking 5-hole. Novus plays that one ahead. Macri had to hang on. Macri got mugged at the blue line. And here we go. Pass to Ben Moore. A little too much cute stuff there. Spinning away from pressure is John Crisafi. Crisafi goes for a bit of a stroll. That pass didn't go anywhere near the intended target. William Trugacos plays it in. Here's Capone once again. John Capone sees a man on the far side, hits him. Shot coming, that's into the mesh. Even Trugacos had to duck in front of the net.
Well, Anthony, I've been watching the two benches operate here the last 4 or 5 minutes, and I'll tell you, the reason why the Polar Bears aren't finishing a lot of their offensive opportunities, and one of the comments I made was they look a little bit off, is they're doing it on the tail end of long shifts. You saw that play right there.
Yeah.
You know, they had nothing left, and they got guys going to the bench when they're making that third and fourth outlet pass, and the guys just have nothing in the tank to finish the play, so they're going to have to be better in making changes when the ball is in the other team's zone and dumping it in deep.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. If the 8th seed manages to tie this up, we are in for one heck of a game next week. Not to say that they can't do it, but boy, are they ever a Cinderella story coming to life. That almost was offside. Good job by Jamara to hold up. Here's an opportunity once again for St. Michael's now. They got somebody heading to the net. They catch Trugacos. He's got some time and space. Johnny Toe marking him, though. Back to the point, Elvidge taking a look. Elvidge's shot goes wide of the mark. The Minosas clear it to the red line, no further. Divisio now. Hit his man, Trugacos in front of the net. Backhanded around, Johnny Toe with some time and space. Toe plays it over for Monahan, Chris Monahan. Justin going to the net, Minosa as well. There's a pass in front. Sandro couldn't quite get to it there. Seemed to have been taken down, no call on the play. Trugacos now for St. Mike's. With the opposition's blue line. Takes a look. Elects to hang on. Justin Monahan. He and Miltiadu trying to work on their man. Here's a centering pass in front. Scores! Kuzi gets his second. He was left all alone in front. Matt Leo found him.
Yeah, and again, this is subject to a critique as well, because the change was in the defensive. While they're come back in the defensive end, as we see the tail end of this play, and Kuzi, the beneficiary of a giveaway. Once again, they had the ball here on the near side boards.
Yep.
But Tony Talevski was coming into the zone late because there was a late change. I think it was Mendoza who came off the floor when the ball was going back to his own zone. And again, St. Mike's outmanned their opponent in the O-zone, and they cashed in on one of the few opportunities they've had.
Here's an opportunity right now, speaking of that, as McCalla had his man fall. They stuff it at the side of the net. It's Joey Barbas trying to get down the floor. In front it goes. Good opportunity right now at the side of the net there. Claudio Minosa is battling hard. Josh Barbas giving him a rough ride.
Yeah, their offensive zone play hasn't been the question. It's the transition, especially on the line changes, which they've gotten caught up with on a couple of times, as we see Claudio Munoz at the side of the net battling and trying to get one past Flores, who makes another big save.
McCarron now with a pass from Tony Talevski. In back of the net, Sean McCalla goes for a run, tries to close his man's lane. It gets ugly. McCalla has got an opportunity. McCalla out in front. They found a man, Talevski, in the slot area, but he was too well covered. Here comes Barbas. Joey off the foot of the player back there. That was Chris Manos. He said he was watching himself. He felt 14 again when he was watching himself in the last game we did. He does a great job against Zuccaro. Here they come, though. It's Barbas. Make that Mike Barbas in the corner, bumping with his man. Chris Manos frees it, throws it over the glass. 16 seconds to go in the first.
Good defensive positioning by Manos, who throws his body in front of the opposing player to win the ball. We take a look at number 16, the veteran, coming off the floor there. His team down 3-1, 16 seconds left. And, you know, they haven't played a bad period of hockey.
No.
They've just given up enough opportunities that St. Mike's have cashed in on, and it's actually made them look worse than what they're actually playing. So they're probably going to be happy to go into the dressing room and kind of retool.
I'm sure thinking rather they must be wishing that third goal didn't get in as Al Moore goes down heavily. Is that Macri who he's tangled up with there?
Well, the second goal, Anthony, they had an opportunity to get the ball out. It was a situation where we take a look at the replay here. Nice shot off the side, and then a couple bodies go in there and knock it off the moorings there. But
Macri's going to go in and take the draw because Brandon Parks was thrown out. This goes down the length of the floor. They're just going to let the clock wind down right now. And there it does as Cabezas makes his way down the floor.
And I was saying before the break here, it's been turnovers. They've given the ball up when they had complete possession in their own zone. We saw the last one there, and it's ended up in the back of their net. Otherwise, they've had some great chances, and the difference has been Mr. Anthony Flores, number 30, for St. Mike's Ball Hockey Club, between the pipes.
One other thing that I've noticed the Polar Bears like to do is they play a guy high in the slot, like the Brett Hull area sort of. They can sort of disappear into the weeds. You're too far from the D and too far from the, you know what I mean? You're just kind of in that middle area, but St. Mike close on you so quickly. Not a lot of opportunities. They find the guy there, there's a blue sweater on him.
Well, they're a smart team. They're a well-coached team, and it's almost like you know what they're going to do. They've given you the blueprint. They say, this is the way we're going to play.
Right.
Now try and beat us. And execution is 8/10 of the law, and they've really executed on the chances they've had.
They certainly have. So there you go, 3-1 the score. After 20 minutes of action here at the Al Pal, we're going to take a short break, step aside, and continue. You're watching the OBHA. It's the Tier 1 Men's Premier Division playoffs. It's the finals on Rogers TV. Back after this.
question. What do you have? Check 1, 2, 3. I got number 16, Chris Manos, with me. How do you feel? 1 minute. And then what do you have to do? Welcome back here to the Al Palladini Community Center. Joining me now, number 16, Chris Manos. Chris, you guys are down by 2 points right now. The score is 3-1. Talk to me. How do you feel?
Well, we'd obviously rather be up by a couple of goals, but we're still very much in this. We're going to grab a quick goal early in the second period, and we're right back in it.
Speaking of the second and grabbing quick goals, what other things do you guys have to do to make sure you guys put pressure on St. Mike's?
Every guy needs to just win his each individual battle. Limit the giveaways, be a bit more opportunistic, and we're right back in this thing.
All right, Chris, I'm going to let you get back to your team. I know you guys are in a hurry, and best of luck in the rest of the game. We're going to have more OBHA Premier Ball Hockey coming up after the break. We'll be right back with more of your first game highlights. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Al Palladini here in Vaughan/Woodbridge, if you will. 3-1 is the score there. Toronto versus Toronto. We're talking, of course, about the Toronto St. Mike's BHC, the ball hockey club, and the Toronto Polar Bears here.
See what I'm doing here, Anthony?
What are you doing? Choking?
I'm just tightening up. I'm tidying up my shirt. That's what the Polar Bears got to do this second period. It's been all about the giveaways. They've given up 2 balls, maybe 3 in their own zone, and 2 of them have ended up in the back of the net. They can't afford to do that. They talk about being opportunistic. They've created enough opportunities, but Flores has had the answer. Yeah. I mean, there really hasn't been anybody on that team that stood out other than the goaltender, but they're up 3-1. So they're just playing it close to the belt and doing what they need to do.
Yeah, they certainly are. Let's have a look at the first 20 minutes in highlight form, if you will. So you're going to see a quick goal. It's I believe it's 37 seconds in. Zuccaro.
Yeah, and right away, like that came off the rush. That was a mistake. Gus Kalaitis should have had that one. He wants it back. But look at the opportunities that they've had. Here's Okapinti coming in on the back end. Look at the wraparound. That's the first of 3 or 4 big saves that Flores has made. Ferlisi gives it over the one-timer. I mean, Macri, you can't go wrong on that one. It was just a laser. You can't blame Liakopoulos on that. That was probably a second shot that he saw in that period.
Exactly.
And look at this. Moore back over. Talevsky. Look at this shot. Look, another.
There was celebration already.
There was celebration already, but Flores says, no, not this time.
No.
And here's the goal by Mendoza. Sandro, look at him.
Me?
What a beautiful play. And that gave them a little bit of life. But then just when the momentum started to shift their way, all of a sudden they turn it over a number of times. This is one of the rare opportunities. And then there's Kuzi in tight again. And that was off the giveaway. We didn't see that happening on the near side boards. But it was another situation where they had the ball on their stick. They had a chance to flip it out, like I said, get it into the 8-foot or the 10-foot circle, and get a change, but they failed to do it, and it ended up in the back of their net.
So St. Mike's control off the draw and are winning in this game. Zuccaro now. Johnny Toe steps up on him. Toe takes it away, cuts towards the middle, plays it down for Okipinti, who's having a little bit of trouble on the blue line. Double team, but he did a pretty good job of hanging on, and St. Mike's ices because of that. 15 seconds into the second.
And I like this. I like this idea of starting Okapinti line out there.
I do too.
He's had a lot of fire in his legs, and like you said, he's been here. He was here early and gung ho for this game, and he's had a couple of good opportunities. And before this game's out, he'll play a role in the deciding factor here, one way or the other.
Ben Moore in for the draw against Kuzi. Moore. Ball goes into the corner off the draw. Zuccaro takes a look, hits Kuzi. Kuzi gets it chopped away from his stick there. Good job there defensively. Novus goes into the corner. Takes a little shove from Cabezas. Okupinti there. He's still got it in his boots. Cabezas now. Is he going to walk out and try and stuff it home? He is. In back of the net, though. Moore is trying to catch up to his man. This is number 44, Krisafi. Plays it back for Novus. They just settle things down a little. Novus has options. Elects to go to Krisafi. He's going to ring it around the boards, I think, for Kuzi. That's to Novus. Zuccaro's looking down the floor. Kuzi gets it in an indirect pass. They get to center. Just fire this one in. Zuccaro now spinning away from pressure. Pushing and shoving along the boards. There's a great job by a camera in the corner. And here they come. Polar Bear time. Justin Monahan got screened off just enough by Josh Barbas to not draw the call, but to just get in the way. Here's an opportunity once again. Here they come. Justin Monahan now decides to shoot. You got to better believe Josh Barbas felt that. Took it off the leg, but here he is on the rush now. He's in on the right side, in over the blue line to the half boards. Big run against Miltiadu. Shot. Oh, come on. That was a beaut. So he blocks it at one end, goes for a run, gets around Miltiadu, and pops this one into the top corner.
And talk about backbreakers.
Yeah.
Boy, that's one that hurts. But look at that play by number 24.
Josh Barbas.
Josh Barbas, who comes around the wing, not beats one guy, but two. Makes them look like they're standing still, and then has the presence of mind to find the far side behind Liakopoulos, who was a little bit deep in his net, and he rings this one off the inside post and gives his team a 4-1 lead. Just less than 2 minutes into this second period, and that's going to be tough for the Polar Bears to handle that one.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of an uphill battle from this point, especially when Flores is playing as well as he has been. There's an opportunity now in front. Chance to the side of the net. They can't do it. Oh, come on. Are you kidding me? Mauro Minosa coming so close. A little bit of brotherly love right there, but two Minosas in front of the net. Neither could find the twiner.
And has that not been the story here?
Yeah. Flores.
At the bookstore?
Yep.
I mean, every book we've taken off the shelf here,
there it is.
It's been written by Anthony Flores.
Yeah.
And he continues to author this victory. I mean, he's just doing a fantastic job, of getting in the shooting lanes. That's another great opportunity thwarted by number 30.
Here we go, another opportunity. Shot goes into the corner. Giorgio Okapinti's on it now. He puts a back pass that gets away from his man, Chris Manos. They're calling for it once again. They got to get onside. Minosa Playing it back to Okapinti. And out in front, Mauro Minoso is looking for it. Battling along the boards. There's a little bit of pushing, a little bit of shoving. Elvidge has got his man, Okapinti.
Great ball hockey battle by Claudio Minoso, number 36, along the wall to keep it in.
Watch the battle in front of the net there as Elvidge and Okapinti go at it. The ball comes loose, and Okapinti gives Elvidge a little tap and then heads off. Good sportsmanship by Giorgio. Into the corner it goes. A little pushing, a little shoving. Down the floor, here they go. Nice job by Okapinti now. He's in and over. He's got the zone. He's got some help. Here we go. Ben Moore. His shot goes off. Flores in a mile high into the air. Okapinti once again. He's the league's leading scorer. He gets in front to Ben Moore. He couldn't find the handle. He goes down. Kuzi plays around in back. Sorry?
Sandro Munoz is still out there in a long shift. He was playing with his two other brothers, and I think he was lagging behind, looking for an offensive chance with Okapinti jumping over the boards and Ben Moore doing a great job to keep that in. And
Okapinti never got off, actually.
Oh, no, he did. He jumped on it. I think he had him mixed up with
Claudio.
With Claudio, yeah.
36-39. Gotcha.
Yeah, and they did a great job of cycling the ball down low and generating not one but two good opportunities, but nothing to show for their efforts.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Okapinti once again doing a great job. Here's Novus with it now for St. Mike's. McCalla closing on him. Boy, he looks like a gazelle when he gets running. Hey, those long, skinny legs. You know who I haven't seen? Big Bobby D.
Doesn't look like he's in the lineup tonight because I'm sure he would have been out there and often. So
we would have seen a shadow on the half the arena.
We didn't get any report on him, and we're not really aware of what the situation is.
No, as McCarron heads the back of the net there. Dave McCarron under some pressure, lost the ball. Tries to get it to Kuzi. Kuzi in back of the net. McCall's watching the front. McCarron has got his man, Barbas, Mike. Johnny Toe now. Giving his man Kuzi a hard time. Kuzi looking for a hat trick. There's a jump ball. And ending up with it in the glove of Alex Liakopoulos.
And Chris Manos alluded to it in the interview earlier on about winning the battles, having to come out here in the second period. But it's really tough when you're playing against a team like St. Mike's, who has a distinctive size advantage in a lot of categories. Plus, they play tough on the ball. You saw it down low. Every ball down in the corner, they really have to work hard to get it off the double blue. And that's an investment that the team has made, and it wears on you as the game goes on.
They certainly do battle, and I said their perseverance is almost annoying. Every time you think, okay, I've got a chance in the slot area, as Liakopoulos makes a stop, anybody who's free is quickly covered as soon as the ball goes to them. Here's another shot from that young man, Josh Barbas, who's doing a great job. Talevsky tried to play it ahead for Justin Monahan out of his wheelhouse. Here's an opportunity. Great job there by Joey Barbas. Back to Josh. Macri couldn't hang on. Here's Talevsky. He goes down heavily. Talevsky has a few words to the official. Tells him to play on.
Yeah, but that was great play by Josh Barbas. I mean, he had body position on him, and Talevsky ran into him.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's arguing about. The guy's done a great job of shielding the ball and moving it out of danger every shift.
Here's a chance, and look at that. Liakopoulos flashing the leather, left hand. Great stop. Josh Barbas got wiped out in back of the net. Went down heavily. Didn't get up, didn't wind to the officials, just kept going. You saw him block a shot at one end, score the other.
Yeah, well, you got a good team when you got defensemen like Barbas who can do it all. Not only can he get you out of trouble, but he blocked shots and he made that run down the floor, beat two defenders on his own, and then buried it in the long side past Liakopoulos to give him a 4-1 lead. So, I mean, remember we talked about that skill and that I don't know, that speed that sometimes is hidden. Well, it's coming out.
Certainly
we're starting to see it.
Shot right on Liakopoulos. I'm not sure he even saw that. It was from William Trugakos low to the far side, and Liakopoulos got the right pad on it, made the stop. 14:04. 4-1. Is it out of reach or feeling that way?
It's getting that way because St. Mike's plays such a disciplined, structured game. I mean, you could see the triangles out there. Look at the shots. Look at the guys. You got two guys at the point. You got the guy that's sitting in the slot. You got one guy in deep, the other guy supporting off of the weak side. And like you said, every time the ball's turned over, there's somebody there.
Right on you.
They're very disciplined, so that's going to be tough for a team like the Polar Bears to crack.
Almore now. Talked about the model of discipline he was in the very last game, but he got caught. Here's a 2-on-1 coming the other way. Trugakos. Moore's trying to get back into position. He is in position. Goes back to the point now. Elvidge just got robbed. It would have been wide. Doesn't matter. Liakopoulos doesn't allow a rebound. Doesn't allow the havoc to continue around him.
But look at the play by Trugakis there on the ensuing play. He's got not one, not two, but three guys to go to. So what does he do? He goes to his fourth option.
Right.
The point man coming in on the strong side, and he gets the shot off. I mean, that's how disciplined a game they're playing, and that's how well positioned this team is. And they're not getting out of it. They're not giving this Polar Bear team any reason to believe that they're going to get back into this game.
Well, it's up to the Polar Bears to shape their own destiny. They, as Mr. McCarron said, Chris Manos said, got to be capitalizing on our opportunities, and we've got to limit those turnovers. As you said early in the first, General, it's the turnovers that are killing them. And then some missed passes don't help, as Dave McCarron tried to hook up Cabezas, but ended up icing it instead.
Yeah, and that's not going to work. That's why you're going to see a lot more icings as the game goes on, because they're going to try
the long bomb?
Well, the stretch pass, whatever, because everybody's covered.
Yeah.
As you saw there on the far side, there was three guys lined up. One guy in the middle of the rink taking away any outlet pass that they had or intention of using the middle of the floor. So they had to go long, opposite side, but there's no way Cabezas was going to get that.
No. It'd have to be a lot softer and maybe a little higher in order to have some kind of success. There's a tripping penalty. Giorgio Occhipinti goes down rather heavily, I believe it is. 39, yes. So there's a tripping penalty. It's going to be Kuzi who gets the gate, and I'm pretty sure that Liakopoulos goes, thank goodness. Well, they scored on their first, my friend.
Well, if they're going to make a game of it here, as we took a look at the penalty there, if they're going to make a game of it, they got 2 minutes to bag one. So we take a look at Kuzi in the penalty box, rolling up his sleeves. He's had a great game insofar as the goals that he scored.
Yeah.
But he's played along with a number of different guys on this club that have just been solid in support. So I mean, the double blue have really supported one another so well tonight that really no one has stood out. And even Kuzi, who's had a couple of goals, you really can't say that he's gone out of his way. We got an offside there at the blue line. Didn't really cross the line, and
Claudio Minosa might have thought it did. Well, good call by the officials for being on top of that one. Mike Barbas there, number 47. We saw a look at him, and here we go. Sandro Minosa, he scored the only power play goal on the only opportunity for his club. Johnny Toe gets it back there. It's swept to him from Giorgio O. There's that new stick. The right-handed twig by Trilage. Down it goes. Monahan. Justin, that is. Walks out, gets it in front. Hacking, whacking, and Flores has got it still loose. Can they get it out? Giorgio plays this one into the corner. Back. Monahan gets it back. Here was an opportunity. Johnny Toe walking down the middle. You might have gone looking for the two backdoor men. You had Sandro Minosa and Johnny Toe working down the left side slot, if you will.
Well, I can appreciate Sandro's call for the ball, but he was a little bit too
deep and
outside of that dot there and on the half boards. And if he had made a couple steps in, and maybe Monahan would have found him, or at least given it to him and given him an opportunity for the one-timer.
Chris Monahan wins that draw. Occhipinti now is back on the blue, and he exchanges with Mr. Minosa. Claudio, that would be, to Sandro. Back to Claudio. Johnny Toe working in the slot area. Here's a shot. Flores takes it in the upper body and hangs on with 45 seconds to go in the man advantage.
Giorgio Occhipinti coming in off of the half boards and done a good job of taking that pass and in one stride there, taking the wrist shot, but unfortunately put it in the breadbasket. They're gonna have to put some traffic out in front of Flores because he's seeing everything and he's stopping them.
Right. Great job there by Almore. to Okapinti down the wall to Monahan. Okapinti to Moore. Moore takes a look, pedals towards the middle. Here's a shot coming. Goes off a body. Monahan settles it down. Backdoor action. They try and do it once again. A little too soft. Trying to be a little tricky there was, I believe, Sandro Mignosa.
Great job by Elvidge to get in the front of that shooting lane, and Sandro just couldn't tee it up. He had to come back for another pass.
An opportunity right there for Claudio Mignosa. Goes into the corner. Elvidge is into the corner. He's kicking it into the boots. The Mignosas working together. Get it back to Al Moore. Shot coming. Scores! Are you kidding me? Right as the penalty expired, Kuzi's out of the box. 4-2, my friend. Interesting. Oh, it's getting.
Well, 11:08 left. There's plenty of time. And have the Polar Bears scored more than 4 goals in any given game this year? Absolutely. But once again, where does this come from? I mean, as much as this is a good shot by Moore off the point, Sandro Mignosa and Okapinti, they did a great job of ball recovery, and they did not
Claudio and Sandro.
give it up. Yeah, Sandro. Yeah. They did a great job of just digging until they finally got it home. So
Macri now, once again, speaking of trying to get it home, they're trying to rebuild the lead. So every time they take a penalty, it seems, the Polar Bears are quick to capitalize. That one was an even strength marker. Nonetheless, it was mostly 5-on-4 for quite a while. They maintained the zone, passed it around well, and look at that cat in front there. As Macri and Moore, Al that would be.
Now, I saw body contact, the signal, but I don't know who's going. Is it Macri or is it Moore?
I think it's Macri, it should go. Moore got hit down from behind.
Well, there you go.
Boy, is he ever playing well this year, Mr. Al Moore. Look at him. He got ragdolled last week, held his tongue, held his temper. He got ejected a couple of weeks prior for slamming the penalty box door.
Ironically?
Yeah.
You say?
I didn't say ironically.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm saying ironically because it's really out of character for these guys to show the kind of discipline. And calm. And look at this. They're drawing key penalties at key times.
And they won.
10:43 left. They're down 2. They just scored a power play goal, and they're going right back to it. So, needless to say, the next goal's huge. If the Polar Bears get it, the scales have tipped, my friend.
Yes, sir.
Or will have tipped.
Because right now, Liakopoulos, very early in the game, on a breakaway, Macri's knee hit Gus Kalaitzis in the back of the mask. Gave him a good shot. So he came out. Alex Liakopoulos came in relief. Has been pretty good ever since. Back to Mr. Mignosa on the point. Claudio. It's out in front. Here we got an opportunity now. Chris Monahan. He's got Joey Barbas on him. You hear all the yelling and screaming. It's back to the point. Johnny Toe's in front doing some yeoman's work there. He's pushing and shoving. Sort of the nicest, well-spoken young men as Okapinti's got it now once again. Looks back to Johnny Toe with that new twig of his. Toe would love nothing more than to throw this one into the back of the net here. They need him to as well. Okapinti feels the pressure from the D-man. Barbas. Now they play this one down low. Oh, off the post at the side of the net it looked. Mignosa with it once again. Sandro to Mr. Okapinti. Giorgio taking a good look. He's got his head up, makes the pass. Johnny Toe's open on the point. Good job there by Joey Barbas to get in the way. Johnny Toe back down along the wall. A touch pass in back of the net for Claudio. Claudio Mignosa. Got Giorgio Okapinti over here. He's looking one way. He's going to go to Okapinti in a second. There it is. You could tell it was coming because he went the other way on purpose, trying to draw the defenders. Tries to just sift that one out in the front. They get it back to the point. No further. Okapinti now spins away from pressure. Takes a look. Has Johnny Toe back. Monahan, Chris open on the far side. Toe to Okapinti. 3 seconds to go in the penalty. Got to get a shot off pretty soon. Johnny Toe gets a shot, goes into the corner. Okapinti now. He's going to try and get in the way. They play that down. Macri's out of the box. Kuzi gets bumped by Toe. Into the corner goes. Liakopoulos is out. Plays it in back of the net, but William Trigakos was looking just for that. Kuzi, he's got a man. Macri in front. Macri shot. Doesn't get through because Chris Monahan, 21, got in the way. Liakopoulos covers up. You got a nice grin on your face like the cat that ate the canary.
Well, they did a great job of moving this ball around the perimeter, but they didn't get any shots down. And you know what?
None.
I'm kind of saying, guys, just shoot the P, and you see the result here at the other end. St. Mike's, who waits and waits and waits and did a fantastic job of clogging up the shooting lanes or active sticks, not allowing that cross-floor pass to happen for one-timers to Mendoza. Guys
Barbas
like Joey Barbas,
yeah,
they were just solid. And we got a timeout here, and I think it's St. Mike's taking their second timeout or their timeout for the period. And
looks to be, for sure, because they're all gathered around the chalk.
well,
right?
listen, if it's 4-2, and this game isn't over for a long shot. So Coach Bovoletis, Alex, he's calling his troops in and saying, guys, let's start moving our feet. Let's get back to what we were doing earlier. I mean, don't get too comfortable with these guys. These guys can score in bunches.
They certainly can. Hey, this game has certainly progressed. I said they're all gathered around for a chalk talk. There's no chalk anymore. It's dry erase boards. You don't get wood on a shot. You got composite now. You don't miss the net by a mile. It's a kilometer. This game has completely evolved from when I was a young man. Everything we say, he's 6'2". No. He's 174 centimeters tall. You know.
Oh, is that what it is? 6'2"?
Yeah, I don't know. No, but you know what I mean. Like we still say 6'2", 6'1", 5'9" for heights, right?
Well, one thing doesn't change.
What's that?
The clock up there, it's 8:19 left, and it's 4-2.
Right.
And the next goal's huge, and there's
certainly
plenty
is.
of time for either one of these teams to get it. So
Justin Monahan having some trouble off the draw, gets there, gets in the way, plays that ball down the floor. McCalla with a great burst of speed, but he's working against quite a few. Puts it into the corner. Tony Talevski chasing Novus. Novus rings it around for Capone. Vince Capone has Macri with him. Macri watches it go past him as Chris Manos goes into the corner. Throws the ball down the floor. Novus is all the way back. Talevski closing on him. Capone with a one-touch pass. Justin Monahan swipes at it. Brandon Parps puts it in deep and then heads off.
And you're going to see St. Mike's do this all day with 7:35 left. They're going to be quite content to put that ball in, send one guy in on the forecheck, as you can see, and four guys back, taking away the neutral zone and the defenseman clogging up the middle of the floor.
Fresh legs on the floor every 30 seconds or less, I'll bet. Talevski now opportunistically gets the ball from Flores. Tries to find the trailer man. Chris Manos. Back it goes. Trent Godin now. McCalla's got it. McCalla gets it in front. Novus gets in the way. Talevski had his chops set for that lovely feed in front. But Novus got in the way, and here comes Trugakos, the captain, into the corner. Plays this one back for Matt Leal. Leal goes around McCarron. Gets it into the slot area. Shot coming. Wide of the mark. Return feed. How about that? Oh, a great job there to break that one up. Claudio Mignosa plays it in. Giorgio Occhipinti. Sorry, that isn't Occhipinti.
That's Mauro Mignosa.
Mauro Mignosa.
Trying to feed it through there, Anthony, but Sandro has just played an unbelievable game. I don't know if he's got anything left in the tank.
Yeah, I'm wondering about that myself as Leokopoulos gets that shot up high, plays the rebound out. So it's all three Mignosa brothers out on one line together. They hadn't started the game that way. That's why I was looking for 89 and 39 to be playing together, Occhipinti. But look at this. Look at this. He got one earlier on that type of play. So Sandro says, have another go. Your mother won't know.
What great effort there. And he gets a little tap on the shoulder from his brother, Claudio. And he recognizes how much energy he's putting into this one. 6:01 left, and he's not giving up. And neither is his brother, number 19 there, Mauro on the draw, or Claudio on the other side. And they went to this line early in the second period for some offense, and they've done everything but put the biscuit in the basket.
Oh, Zuccaro tried to get around Moore. There's a little bit of pushing, a little shoving here. Here we go, the Mignosas. Back to Moore. Feeds this one up the middle. Sandro Mignosa goes into the corner. Plays it back, calling for it, but unable to control it. Was number 19, Morrow. Kuzi now. This guy can deal, can he? Well, look at this. Ben Moore's on him, giving him a rough ride to his brother Al. Settles it down, plays it up forward for Ben. Ben Moore. Cabezas had a man running. It was Moore. He left his defense position. They're going to start doing that. Liakopoulos with 3 stops in a row. And he gets a little shove from Al Moore, the player in St. Mike's, who came close.
Yeah, and you got to keep it simple now with 5-11. Another turnover, and this could have easily been the nail in the proverbial coffin. But a nice save there by Liakopoulos. Yeah, and again, the beneficiary of a Cabezas turnover in the neutral zone, and you can't do that. And Rydell, as much as he's been a great player over the years, he's lost a few steps, and he's got to make things easier and simpler right now and move the ball.
Yes, indeed, he does. There's some real pushing and shoving there along the wall as Giorgio Okapinti went flying. Got up, continued on. Big fella Dave McCarron's got it now. Tries to play this one down the wall. Johnny Toe gains the zone. Ben Moore and Okapinti heading off. Fresh troops. It's the Monahan brothers. 21-71. Miller couldn't control the ball. Chris Monahan sees Johnny Toe pick it up. Toe looks right up the middle. It goes off a stick and inside the zone. Josh Barbas with a look over his shoulder. Plays it to Joey. They're both going to put both in the box. McCarron and one of the Barbas brothers.
No, that's Cabezas there.
Cabezas, 94. That's 94. A second penalty then.
Yeah, and again, that's just one of those penalties that they're taking. Again, it's fatigue. They've been out there for a long time. I mean, I was talking about him about a minute and a half ago. They have to get their guys out there in 30-second spurts if they're going to turn this game over and actually grab a goal, get themselves back into it. It's not going to happen with guys lagging behind, and you see it right here, right into your camera at home. Little face wash, little elbow, and they'll play 5-on-5.
One of the things that Rob Moniz was saying about his assistant coach, Bobby Dunlop, he said he's that guy that provides that inspiration, that positive, uplifting message. Chugakos with a shot, that's wide of the mark. William Chugakos, the captain, into the corner now. Plays this one back. 2 minutes for holding. They go into the corner. Chugakos gets a little push and a little shove, and Al Moore, is it? No, pardon me, that's Manos. Or Trent Godon, pardon me. McCarron's out now. Chugakos makes the shot, had it chopped away, but it's recovered by Novus. Plays it down into the corner. That's Ferlizzi, played it in back of the net. McCarron settles it down. Here goes Justin Monahan. Pardon me, Chris. Justin's in behind everybody. He's looking to free the ball. John Crisafi into the corner. Good moves by Crisafi, getting it ahead to Novus. McCarron closes on him. Novus can't settle this down. Can't do much with it. Had his pocket pick, Tony Talevski. Plays it in back. Justin Monahan's shot goes right into Flores. And Talevski says, what are you doing? I think he's trying to get an offensive zone draw, get fresh legs out.
Or was he just looking for a hug?
Maybe.
No, I think he was looking for a rebound and he never got it. Or a return pass, for that matter.
I was thinking give and go pass. But Monahan, Justin Monahan, you see him heading off right there, utilizing his great foot speed. Kuzi's in for the draw. And it's going to be against Mauro Mignosa, is it? Or is it
Claudio's going
in?
Claudio's, that's a big draw here. 2:57 left.
Won by St. Mike's, Elvidge.
And Cute doesn't cut it anymore. They're going to have to get balls to the net, and often.
Yes, indeed. Johnny Toe tries to force a pass through along the wards. He's working against Zucchero. Wow. There's a whole pile of non-call right there. The officials have their reasons. That went right through the crease, my friend, as Johnny Toe got hauled down. He goes for a foot race against Zuccaro, and they call this one icing.
Well, in the estimation of referee Pat Myers, who was running down there, nose and nose with the two players, neither they nor he could get to the ball in time, so whistle goes and arm goes up.
Sure does. Well, this is a very important draw right now. Kuzi's out for St. Mike's. He won the last one. And he's going to go up against Mauro once again. The Mignosa's out there.
Another big draw by Kuzi.
Yeah. Oh, he's just done it all, hasn't he? He might have the game-winning goal if it stands the way it does right now, as Al Moore had that get away from him. 2 minutes, 10 seconds now. The 2012 Premier Division Championship game. And that's a little too rich for Sandro Mignosa. Divizio now. Barbas seemed caught by surprise. They're just going to try and run down the clock. Mike Barbas.
Well, here's where you got to attack each guy, man on man, and force the ball.
Yep.
And then once you've got it, you got to win it.
Well, here's an opportunity now for Zuccaro. Coming back heavily is Miller. Miller throws it into the corner, tries to sweep it up the wall. He's working there against, I believe, that Kuzi in the back of the net. Yeah, number 9, there he is. Kuzi's having a hard time against the big fella. Big fella just backs into a 1:21 to go. And out of the box now we have Josh Barbas and Rydell Cabezas. So they're getting a chance to head back to their respective benches.
Yeah, and this is where, 1:21 left. I mean, there's still time, but, in the back of your mind, you're thinking, okay, we got to get a goal. How are we going to do this? The chances of us, tying this game and winning it are slim. And on the one side, on the other side, the excitement of the anticipation of that final whistle going, and they're starting to look at the cup, and and they can almost feel it in their hands. So it's just a whole mix of emotions that goes through both sides of the benches here.
Certainly is. There's a timeout being called once again. This would probably be by the Polar Bears, would it not?
Yeah, probably just to give
pull their goalie maybe
their top 5 or 6 guys a bit of a rest right now.
Yeah,
give them a bit of a break so that they can get out there and hopefully bag one quickly enough so that they can make it within one, maybe pull their goaltender and look for a tie. But it's going to be tough to beat this guy. He's been solid all day. As we take a look at Anthony Flores, or we just take a look at him in the St. Mike's bench. They got their hands in and they're waiting for the last cheer there. Alex Bovolitis, who's done a great job, and his counterpart there, Bobby Dunlop, in absence of Rob Moniz, who was not well and had surgery.
He just got stitches out today.
Yeah, so you know what? And before this game's over, I mean, we can say honestly that both these teams have had fantastic seasons and deserve to be here, and they got nothing to be ashamed about. In a losing side.
And the Cinderella story maybe coming to a bit of a stop right now as the Mignosas try and change destiny a little. Good job by Parps to get in the way. It's down the Macri now with it. He just throws it in deep. He lets Capone go for a run. Leakopoulos got his pocket picked. And that's the icing on the cake, my friend.
Well, it's official. We can knock it, block it, and put this one in our pocket, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's and with all due respect to the Polar Bears, they played. They put in a valiant effort tonight, despite the fact that they gave up that 6-1 loss in the first one and gave up that early goal that they really never seemed to rebound from. But that's been the name of the game. St. Mike's has done this consistently over and over tonight. And what I mean by that is dump the ball in and beat the Polar Bear defenders to the punch in the corner, winning the battles, making that investment, and those investments have finally paid off, and that's why it's 5-2 as the clock winds down with 30 seconds left.
And Capone picks up a turnover and then just sort of puts the ball into the corner, not wanting to put too fine a point on this win. This will be their first championship, though, my friend, will it not? Very first in 4 years.
Absolutely, and they've come a long way as both teams let the clock run out out of respect for one another. And full marks to the St. Mike's Ball Hockey Club.
Look at William
going to celebrate
Are they having
victory.
Fun? Well, let's give, first of all, congratulations to the boys in double blue out there. They're having a terrific time, the Barbas brothers. And what can you say about a guy like Mike Kuzi? There goes the buzzer. It's official.
Anthony, it was a total team effort. I mean, if you go up and down this lineup, starting with Anthony Flores, even backup goaltender Daniel Medeiros, whose brother was up here with the little guy watching this game.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a lot to do as the architectural base of this club dating back 3-4 years, and they finally come to fruition. But how about those Barbas brothers, and Elvidge, who was so solid back there, and DeVizio with his expertise and
Zucchero.
Yeah, Zucchero, and Danny Novus, who came up with some huge goals.
And he got in the way of passes, and he broke things up. He's a great defenseman.
And the unheralded ones such as, Krisafi, John Krisafi, Tragakos, who was just huge tonight.
Big William, he was the first one off the bench.
I mean, when you hit that guy, I mean, how sore are you going to be the next day?
Tell him,
Mike Kuzi, 2 goals today, led his team in most categories.
2 goals last game,
Yeah,
too.
2 goals last game. I mean, arguably the MVP, for this series. And we take a look at the smiles on their faces. I mean, we go down the line of, Matt Leal and Emil Ferlisi, who ran miles for his team, and Brandon Parps, Bobby Dormissis, who...
Big Bobby D.
Big Bobby D, who wasn't in the lineup tonight, but they didn't miss. And that's how deep and how common they are, Vince Capone, Mike Barbas, and let's not forget Big Jamara.
Here's one of our cameras is actually out on the floor. So capturing, the big moment for the boys in double blue. Excellent job by them. We've got a lot of people in attendance here tonight. A lot of people taking photos, etc. So here's the game stars here as we take a look here once again. Polar Bears star being announced first. Sandro Mignosa.
Yeah, he was indeed the star of the game, not just for his team, but could have easily been in the game itself if his adversary Anthony Flores in the other net. I mean, if he doesn't get this, if he doesn't this player get the game.
Macri's getting the player of the game. That's not a bad call. But Kuzi won some important draws in his zone, scored the game-winning goal.
No, I got Flores from the very beginning.
Well,
Come on.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Come on.
You're right.
We're not going to take anything away from him, but I'm pretty sure that his name's going to come up in the All-Star ballots.
I think so, my friend. And listen, while we got a chance, the Toronto Thunder bowed out last week to St. Michael's, and Dan Giffen, the netminder, wanted to thank everybody involved in Rogers TV and our team for, as he said, making men's ball hockey more exciting. So that was really nice to hear.
Thank you, Mr. Giffen, and you're welcome. And what a class act, David.
Isn't he?
But you know what? We've had such a great run this year, and it just shows how much parity and great competition there is in this league.
Yes.
I mean, look at the 2 teams you got here in the finals, and neither of these teams factored in the Canada Cup, which had 2 other championships.
Right.
Championship teams in the final as well. And
well, the Metro Orangemen were there. The Red Wings were there.
Absolutely.
The Express were there. And
a representative team from Penetang, the Blazers, represented too. We have a lot of young kids that play on these teams out here, so you're going to see them in the future.
Massachusetts
coming up.
Well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me just get my notes here. Gus Kalaitis getting
the All-Star ballot. Danny Novus was just selected as one of the top defensemen.
No kidding, eh?
Boy, was he solid in the playoffs this year, eh?
There's the other team I missed, the Mississauga
Hawks were in there as well, Final Four,
Nicely done. John Toe.
And we talked about him and how well he played there back there on the blue line, and Johnny showed us some different side to him this year. He stepped it up.
Side here,
the little edgy side that
good.
We haven't seen in years, but he was so solid and such a class act.
Justin Monahan, number 71, a fleet-footed younger brother of Chris Monahan, who was given an award just a few moments ago.
And these are the All-Star selections made by the organization,
or
by the
team?
league.
All-Star?
For the
Frank Zuccaro. No kidding, number 8 was great. He was the one who made a no-look back pass right here below us at the blue line that allowed Mike Kuzi to score that first goal.
Yeah, and he was Johnny on the spot for the turnover, and he made the best of it by finding Kuzi open down low. And here's your guy right there. You talk about the 1-2 tandem.
He had a big grin on the way in. I said, Mr. Kuzi, 2 goals and a helper last game. And he said, thanks, man. He came over, shook my hand. He's a heck of a nice guy, a heck of a player. Played for the Niagara Ironmen last year.
He played very well. Not only did he run the floor both ends of the rink, but scored some big goals when he had to. And Danny Novus going back up there again.
Danny Nova and the commission's out there as well, taking some pictures. Peter LaRusso is about to back away and take a photo.
Yeah, and you got Dominic DiGeronimo, the president of the Premier Ball Hockey League, and Peter LaRusso, the
Mike Kuzi. He's is he the MVP of the playoffs?
Yes.
Thought so.
I believe so.
And he should be as well. His dad is wonderful. He's followed him around for ages. He always tries to check out the ball hockey games. And was really, really happy. And I believe they're out in the Oakville area, somewhere to the west there, where they don't have a Rogers, unfortunately for them. So you can't always see the games.
And now they're going to make the presentation of the medals for the runner-up team, the Polar Bears.
So the silver medals?
Yeah, silver medals. And they came a long way this year, Anthony.
Didn't they? Eighth place? They just made the playoffs.
Yeah, remember we saw them. They had to win, or they had to get 3 out of the possible last 4 points, and they did so to get in there, and then they knocked off
Oshawa. Well, first they had to beat Oshawa to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, and then they knocked off the #1 seed.
Red Wings.
Yeah, the Red Wings, and then they had to go through the Midnight Express, the defending champions, which is not easy to do.
15 of 18 years, no kidding.
And then they had to meet this team here, who was just on a roll and playing such solid ball hockey.
Gaining
who
speed.
came in very quietly, didn't they?
I agree.
St. Mike's. I mean, we talked about them on occasion, but the true skill, the speed, their dexterity, their depth, their defensive game, and their goaltending really showed up in the playoffs. I mean, they really came together, and you know you got to hand it to Alex Bovoletis and Mike Criador, assistant coach. They've done a great job with this organization and really put them on the map. And to me, they were the most organized, structured, and disciplined team in the playoffs. And I'll tell you right now, they had the best goalie because he did outplay everyone else when it really got down to it. And we saw today, he made some fantastic saves. I mean, you were beside yourself on a couple.
Robbed him.
I thought you were ready to call goals there when they
Well,
yeah.
You're thinking it's a sure goal.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden Flores is
some of the Polar Bear, I mean, Sandro Munoz must have had to stick up a couple times.
He was
right?
raising his hand in celebration.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it was going to go in.
Yep.
So the handshakes continue, and the medals go around the necks of the 8th seed Polar Bears, who for a Cinderella team knocked off the #1 seed, who had only faced 3 losses in regulation all year long. They handed them a pair of losses, and then they had Brampton Express their packing slips as well.
There's your buddies, the Moore brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Getting their medals, and
Well
wow, what a
deserved.
battle they fought all tournament or all playoffs, along with that another guy, Okapinti, and
Leokopoulos getting his.
Leokopoulos had to come in a very difficult situation and gave his team for a better part of the thing. And there's Okapinti we talked about before. He really stepped it up. You know, he
did.
He had a slow start to the season. I didn't think he was playing as well as he could have, but I'll tell you, he really stood up. And here's the Munozes, Sandro and Moro and Claudio
and Sandro.
Yeah, right beside the coach.
There's Bobby Dunlop getting his.
Who we said was here early, firing balls into the net, and there's Mr. Rob Moniz, who has done a great job. I don't know if I'm too happy with that shirt he's wearing, being a Bruin fan that I am, but Robbie, great job.
He's showing the
well
medal.
Well deserved, my friend. You did a fantastic job with these guys and bringing them together and bringing them this far.
He's wearing Rocket Richard's jersey, so we're going to give him a little leeway.
Okay, absolutely.
We'll give him some leeway.
No, listen, I didn't say anything about not respecting the team. I just didn't like the uniform he was wearing, that's all.
I had a great opportunity to help out with something that a brand name clothing line company was doing. So we had Luke Shen from the Leafs and PK Subban from Montreal come out and help with some shinny hockey and surprise the life out of some men who just came out to play outdoor shinny. They found out they had 2 NHL players as their coaches. They also divided the sticks up the middle and coached the teams. So it was a bit of a great thing here.
Elvidge looks like an NHLer with that beard.
He?
I don't know. Did he grow this thing for the playoffs? Because if he did, boy, I like to know who his barber is, because they did a great job of fertilizer and then the trim around the edges. And
I don't know what landscaping company he uses.
He was solid. He played large back there, and you know what?
Played mean.
Sometimes those kind of defensemen go unheralded. You're always looking at the goal scorers and the guys in the limelight, but you know they did a great job. And there's Zucchero and company who really showed their speed and skill in the playoffs, scoring some big goals, doing all the right things. And I think, Anthony, you know, all kidding aside, etc., they were the best team per se, as you define
whole team.
Whole
Yeah,
team in the loop going down the stretch, and they showed it. As we talked, Mr. DeVizio there, whose father's in the stands. I'm very sure he's very proud of his sons, and was out there saying hopefully they're going to win tonight so we can celebrate a little bit. And
right.
The rest of the St. Mike's contingent is Dominic DiGeronimo and
Mr. Flores there.
Yeah, look at he was solid. I'll tell you right now. I mean, they owe a lot to him, and whatever awards they got to give him a piece. And
speaking of that, there's
look
Mike
at
Kuzi.
Look at that nice little stash on the Coozer, eh?
Yeah, he's got the little goatee.
Yeah, he's looking good. Scored a couple goals, had 4 in the past 2 games in the final. How can you go wrong?
Captain William.
And there's Daniel Medeiros, who arguably is the man who laid the foundation, and put the bricks down and the mortar that this team is firmly established on, and has done a great job with the St. Mike's Ball Hockey Club. And you know what? Even classier gentlemen, they have to back up a guy like Flores who played so well, because
right.
I'll tell you, Daniel's a heck of a goaltender.
Of course
he could have easily stepped in, but when you got a guy that's hot, how do you change? And there's Bovalitis, the coach, who did a great job, and Creador, his assistant, who again, classy gentleman, classy organization, and a job well done by this team.
Yep. Great job by both these clubs, and now they're going to be shaking hands.
Yep, before they present the championship trophy to the 2012 Premier Ball Hockey League champion, the St. Mike's Ball Hockey Club. And it's a little bit strange. First time in a long time that we've had a new winner, because usually it's the Express, or you've got a common element in the finals. The Thunder were in there last year. And then you've got the Vaughn.
Right.
Yeah, Vaughn was in there. The Jets were in there the year before. The couple years they played, and they won a couple years, and then we're in the finals. So this is great for the league, Anthony.
Certainly.
I mean, it must be a disappointment for the teams that it did not win.
Right.
But I'll tell you, from an organizational standpoint, it's great to see 2 new teams right here. It shows the parity, the equality, and the type of ball hockey that we're producing in this province.
Look at Tony Televsky. He's got 4 guys that didn't actually appear in the lineup, but they're still shaking hands with St. Mike's right in the middle there.
Yeah.
There's the hardware. We got a nice look at William Trugakis. Yeah, there's 4 youngsters out there ahead of Claudio Mignosa.
Yeah.
Shaking hands with everybody. They're getting high fives.
They're getting high fives from
Bovalitis,
and that's a great scene down there.
Yeah, as there's William Trugakis. He's more than happy to stand over there beside the cup, and he's calling his netminder over as well as Daniel Medeiros comes over and stands beside him. Great job. You talk about a complete club. You're looking at St. Michael's, right? They're here.
Just like the Rogers Crew, a championship team, start to finish.
Nice.
I'm proud to be wearing the logo.
I am too.
I love it.
Just
like St. Mike's is going to love lifting this cup up once the pictures are taken.
Oh, certainly they are. It's the real celebration. I think it's not. It doesn't happen out there. You're sort of in a bit of shock, would you say, the first time you won? It's when you get back into the dressing room and you realize it sort of sinks in.
And there you go. That's why they're going to give it to him and let him lift it, because the respect that they have.
There he is. Yeah, he gave it to Dan Medeiros to lift first. I love that.
And deservedly so. And they're gonna celebrate it well into the night here as Trugakis, arguably the tallest guy on this team. And at the other end, we take a look at the Polar Bears getting that team shot, and they're a proud bunch as well. And you know what? You gotta hand it to Rob Moniz and the job that he's done with his coaching staff and keeping these guys together. And you know what? They'll be back bigger, badder, and stronger next year for sure.
Yeah, Elvidge just got the cup and handed over to Anthony Flores. Has got a chance to lift it. I wonder if they're going to be shaving beards after today's
Well,
game.
Maybe a few of them, right?
You never know.
And you got DeVizio Sr. over there. He's down there with his son.
That's nice.
Arm in arm, and now they're going to go down there and maybe take a. Oh, listen! It looks like they're going to take a team picture with the Polar Bears.
Oh, why not? Look at that, Anthony Flores and Gus Kalaitis side by each.
This is a great scene and a great gesture by the St. Mike's Ball Hockey Club.
I agree, because the Polar Bears were lined up to our right, taking a big team photo. And, hey, look, we got to the finals here. We did a great job. No shame there, indeed. And now coming to share the moment with them is the championship team. There may be a few grudges, but Nothing that a little photo like this won't.
No, and this
push
is one
aside.
of those moments that you want to last forever. I mean, it's
do,
very
don't
good.
you?
I mean, we did some crazy things, when we got back in the room. There were guys that were in shock, like you said. Some guys were jumping for joys. You take a look at these guys. Some has not settled in. Some of us just went back out there. We sat in the net for literally hours.
Really,
sipping on a couple of pops and just looking at the arena.
Thinking
I mean,
about
we had to get kicked out by the arena guy,
No kidding.
And the one thing I said to the boys, after championship was, guys, don't leave the room. Take it all in.
Yeah.
Spend as much time as you can here because this moment will never happen again.
Some of them will find this the pinnacle of their hockey playing careers.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
It is not easy, by any stretch of the imagination, to come out on top or even be a contender in the Premier League, Tier 1.
No, and you know what's even more special is the fact that some of these guys are sharing it with their kids.
For the first time.
Yeah,
That's
you know
beautiful,
what, little
isn't it?
guys. You know what? Nothing better
course.
than to have the little guys around and your family.
Cheering
to appreciate,
you on.
to appreciate it with you. Absolutely, absolutely.
And now it's time for St. Mike's to get a picture with the cup. That was some
and
great
the Polar Bears
sportsmanship.
are waving up us over here. They're class act, those guys.
Certainly are.
Okapinti and the Mignozas waving. And even Mr. Wilson in his humble little cap that he's wearing today and in his uniform, wearing the whites, where his team is in black today. Quietly as ushers off the floor. St. Mike's takes their victory picture, their traditional pose.
The number ones.
Yes, surrounding the cup.
The number ones.
And then the two goaltenders out front there. And can't say enough about Anthony Flores. And
look at Elvich. He looks like a wild man on the top left, doesn't he?
Yeah, look at that.
He looks like he's going logging tomorrow.
And the one guy, somebody tried to get up there, and Mineros goes, "Hey, don't move. Just stay right here. Let's take a few more pictures." So
yeah, why not? This moment will live on in their memories for ages. This is an incredible feat by the St. Michael's Ball Hockey Club. Just a tremendous job there. They are St. Michael's 2012 Tier 1 OBHA Premier League champions. Just an incredible. Anthony Flores, I do believe, is standing by with Ron Mill, right about at center, actually. So let's throw it down to Ron. And
that's Medeiros.
Oh, sorry, that's Dan Medeiros standing by with him.
Yeah.
Do apologize, Ron. You and Dan, take it away.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I got number 29, Dan Medeiros. Dan, congratulations on your win. 4 seasons, but you guys have got it. How's it feel?
Feels fantastic. We started this team 4 years ago. We were an expansion team. We started from scratch, and we built this team, and we went through a few rough patches the first couple of years. But we believed in our philosophy. We went with a young team, fast guys that can then run and just run and run and run, and paid off for us in the playoffs this year. We finally did it after 4 years.
Talk to me. You guys had, like you said, a couple of rough patches, but how did you guys overcome it to get the cup here tonight?
Well, we had a great playoff. The regular season was tough. There are 10 great teams in this league. Anyone can beat anyone else on any night. So, we won middle of the pack during the regular season, and in the playoffs, we put it together. We went 6-1 in the playoffs, only had 1 loss, and we only gave up 10 goals in 7 games, which I think is fantastic.
And everybody at home just wants to see the medal. Hold it up to the camera. Show it off proudly. And while you're doing that, I want to touch on, I guess, next season. This one just finished. Talk to me about what you're looking forward to most in the coming season.
What I really like about our team is that we're so young. And if I ever retire, our average age will drop significantly. So I'm really happy about our future. That's the best part of this team is that we're so young and we have so much to offer many years ahead. So we hope to get many of these in future.
And what can we look forward to really quickly in the next season from you guys?
Well, we hope to get another championship. I mean, it's all about St. Mike's and 100 years of championship hockey, and we're happy to be part of that tradition now, and we hope to win future championships going forward.
Medeiros, thank you so much, and you guys are the official champions. More ball hockey coming up, and we're going to have all your highlights coming up after the break as I hang out here with the champions. We'll be right back.
Yes, this is. Yeah, we do. Number one's going to have to be Flores, right? Would make Minosa 2.
Yeah.
Sandro, and then number 1 Kuzi. 3 is Kuzi.
3 is Kuzi, yeah.
Okay, so 3 is Kuzi. Number 9 for St. Mike's.
Go Sandro third. Go Sandro third.
Okay, well.
Kuzi scored 2.
Yeah, Kuzi scored 2. He's the second. Okay.
Flores is 1.
Third star will be Sandro Minosa from the Polar Bears, number 89. Third star. Okay, first star is going to be the netminder Anthony Flores from St. Mike's. St. Mike's goalie. 31.
30 over here. Was it 31 or 30?
31.
Okay.
Second person is going to be the second. And welcome back to the Al Palladini. It's our post-game show. Congratulations to the 2012 champions there. St. Michael's Ball Hockey Club. We just saw Sandro Minosa, however, score the first goal for the Polar Bears, and he's our third star.
Absolutely. He was fantastic tonight in both ends of the rink. He never gave it up. And then, as you can take a look at the graphic there, Mike Kuzi was our number 2 star. He had 2 big goals for his team, leading them offensively. But the number 1 star, as far as I'm concerned, Anthony Flores, he was solid. When you only give up 1 goal in the first game and then come back and hold this offensive juggernaut of a team to only 2 goals and winning the championship, I mean, kudos to this guy. Caps off to him and the whole kit and caboodle, whatever you want to call it. Boy, he gets it all. He was solid tonight. He even stumped you a couple times.
He certainly did. I thought it was in. Sandro Minosa thought it was in. Claudio was starting to celebrate. And one of the people who wasn't able to celebrate right now was Big Bobby Dormices.
Correct.
And we have a very good reason why. Ron Mill is standing by with Big Bobby D's father, who accepted his medal on his son's behalf. Ron?
Thanks, Anthony. Yeah, some think he's the number 1 fan, but you're actually Bobby's dad. Yes, what does it feel like? You were in the crowd, you saw this game. I know your son wasn't here, but you're wearing it loud and proud.
Well, it feels really good. I wish he was here and playing this game. They deserve to win. I mean, whatever they wanted, and I congratulate the whole team. Bobby, what can I say, buddy? I wish you were here.
Yeah, and talk to me. What's it like being a father of a son who plays in sports?
I'm so proud of him. It's just fantastic. Coming over here and watching him every week, playing is just, fantastic.
And talk to me, what's the number thing you wait forward to every time you come on the field here?
Well, let me tell you something. Every day goes by, and whenever there's a game, I'm here. Doesn't really matter work or not. I'm just over here, watching the games.
Guys, thank you so much, and congratulations on the number 1 fan. You got it from me. Back up to you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very kindly, Bobby.
What a great man! What a great man! That's a great interview.
It kind of I get a little touched, if you will, because I think about all the times I went to play hockey, and every time, I'm out there on the ice as a little boy, and I look up into the crowd, and there was my dad. You know what I mean? And
it's tough not to look up there. It's tough not to feel their presence, etc. And as difficult as it was for Bobby to miss this game, I mean, look at his dad. I mean, that guy there is so proud and he was so happy that they won, and now he's got the medal. He can take it back to Bobby and let him know what he missed.
So Bobby, when he comes back from Los Angeles on Monday, is going to have a little extra surprise meeting waiting for him maybe at the airport, wouldn't you think?
Absolutely.
Isn't
and you know
great?
what? I mean, it just shows how deep this team was.
Yeah.
I mean, without Big Bobby in the lineup,
Yeah.
they were still a huge physical presence. They won the one-on-one battles, Anthony. They dumped the ball in. They made it very difficult for the Polar Bears to come up with the ball, even when they went in 50-50.
Yeah.
And the chances that they had, Kuzi buried a couple, one early, one later. He factored in on the GWG, like you call it,
Yeah.
and the rest was history because Anthony Flores was just unbelievable in net. And every time the Minosa brothers had an opportunity, they just saw the big M flash out in front of them, and they had no room but to hit him with it.
When we were looking at the Brampton Express game in which the Polar Bears managed to prevail in Game 3, there was a lot of times Giorgio Occhipinti had the ball, took a look over, threw it back to a guy who was wide open in the slot area in the back of the net. The difference in this game was when they found the guy who was open, he was no longer open.
Well, they play such a highly structured and organized game that it's difficult to play offensively against a team that's so disciplined defensively. And they outmanned their opponent. I mean, every time the Polar Bears looked up, there was 1, 2, 2 and in times 3 blue shirts in and around the ball, and that's tough to play against, especially when you're down a couple of goals, and that's what they did tonight.
Yeah, they certainly did. So the final 5-2, and scoring 2 of those goals is our guest who's standing by with Ron Mill as we wrap up this broadcast. Ron?
Hey, thanks, guys. Yeah, joining me now, the game scoring, the final goal. How does it feel to be the #1 champions?
Oh, it's tough to put into words. I mean, there's guys that play in this this league for many years and don't get an opportunity to win this, so it's quite a great feeling.
Talk to me. Here it is. Here comes the trophy. And there you're celebrating with the rest of the team. Talk to me about this season and what's it been like?
Well, at the beginning of the season, me and close to my 3 buddies, the Barbers boys, had to make a decision to start something new and fresh with St. Mike's, and it was probably the best decision we could have made. And we made great friends, and we had a great year. And to cap it off with a championship it's bittersweet. So I mean, it's nice. It's nice to be a part of the team. Leadership from the top down. I mean, it's just a classy organization to be a part of, and I could be happy to be here with the boys. And it's a great team in there, and we deserve it. So
you sure did, and congratulations. And on that note, I want to thank everybody here for watching the game and for participating. And of course, our champions, the whole crew here at Rogers TV, and everybody who made it happen here on the field. And of course, if you want more information about this, or if you want a copy of the show, you can always log on to rogerstv.com for all your latest details. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a good night. Wave that trophy. Show everyone.
Live.
Thanks, guys. Good night.
We'll have a quick whistle with 2:13 remaining here in period number 3.
Well, I think if you're the Bruins, you can build a little bit on this third period. You've battled hard. If you're Wellington,
definitely their best period.
Oh, it's
for the
definitely
for the
their best.
for the Bruins.
I don't think it's a coincidence. It comes at the same time the Dukes are having their worst period, and it's a chicken and egg thing. Which is happening first?
Patty Sharon up to Ryan Brain, and Brain's shot is stopped by Mr. Rudy.
Well, you hope the guys from Upper Deck were here for this play, because this is a hockey card save if I've ever seen one. Ruby with the giant splits on that glove save.
Marinakos fakes the shot, doesn't fool the defensive core for the Wellington Dukes. Backdoor, and they score! The Seguin Bruins have got on the board thanks to Chris Marinakos. And it's 6-2 Wellington and a 2-2 hockey game in the third period.
Yeah, it's a tie period now, as most of this shift was spent shaking your head at the Wellington defense pair saying, boy, are these two guys asleep. They gave up that chance early by mishandling it in the neutral zone. And then that play there goes off of McKeon's stick right to Marinakos, who puts it in behind Ruby, who's completely out of position. And that makes it 6-2.
Another save by Aaron Green, and he's let 6 goals in already in this final minute 19, but he's looked sharp as well. And you know what? It could have been a 12-2 hockey game right now.
Yeah, he's been, other than the first goal, it's hard to fault him on any of the others. But he's been the best player on the ice for Seguin by a country mile.
A positive for the Bruins is that they are currently tied in this period with the Wellington Dukes 2-2, and they will take that as the Dukes will take a 2-on-1 rush over to Stanton. Stanton can't kick it up to his own stick as he kicks that one just a little too far off the end boards. Willie Armstrong now hits the red line, gives chase to it, and the Bruins are still showing life, and you know what? They got nothing to lose. They're just playing to the buzzer sounds, I guess.
And sometimes it is easy to play when you're down 6-0, because exactly that. You have nothing to lose and you play a little looser. And they've certainly played a little looser since the opening 3 minutes of the third period, when they let in those 2 goals and got down by 6.
Back to the point. That shot is just steered aside by Aaron Green. The 39th shot on the afternoon for the Wellington Dukes. Bruins hit the red line, give chase. Or don't give chase, sorry. They make a line change with just 11 seconds remaining. We're now into the final 5 seconds of this hockey game, and it's going to be the Wellington Dukes winning it pretty easily as well. They've scored 6 unanswered goals before the Bruins get on the board. The Bruins a little positive as they finish this one with 2 unanswered goals, and that's how we stand, and that's how this one finished. A 6-2 final for the Wellington Dukes in game number 2 of 9 here on Rogers TV during the CCHL Showcase, all a part of our coverage of hometown hockey only on Rogers TV. Be sure to come back. We got some post-game coverage of this great game. Wellington 6, Seguin 2. Be sure to come back.
Welcome back inside the Rate 20 Recreational Complex here in Newmarket, Ontario. At the end of Game 2 on Day 1 of the competition, it was the Wellington Dukes defeating the Seguin Bruins by a count of 6-2. And joining me now in the studio for a couple of post-game interviews, we've got Pat McKeon to start, and Jordan Ruby will join us in a moment or two. Start with Pat, though. A 6-2 win over the Seguin Bruins. Do you feel your team played well enough in this game?
Yeah, I think we did right from the get-go. We had a great first shift, and I thought we carried it right from there. Our first line, and they really had a strong start, got some good shots on net, and we just kept flowing from there.
A little bit of a letdown toward the end of the game, allowing Seguin to get a couple of goals. Is there any cause for concern there? Will you pay attention to that and try and correct anything that happened later in the game?
And I don't think so. We were pretty happy with our overall game. There were a couple of bad bounces. One went off my shin pad and right to their guy, so it's kind of a couple of bad bounces, so we're not too worried about it.
I asked, I had Dave Pratt on during the second intermission, and I promised the viewers I was going to ask him about playing with you now that you're a member of the Wellington Dukes, but I never got to it, so I'm going to ask you from the other perspective. Last year when you were in Pembroke with Dave playing for the Young Stars team in the Central Division, along with Joel Hanley as well, I thought the three of you just absolutely outstanding defense. Now that you get to play with Dave on a daily basis, what is it like playing with a guy of the caliber of Dave Pratt?
Oh, that's awesome. We don't play a lot together 5-on-5, but a lot of special teams we get together, and he's a right-handed shot, I'm a left-handed shot, so we work well together, and he's a great skater, a great puck mover, so we definitely have good chemistry out there.
Awesome. Well, you're going to Pembroke again, so best of luck when you get out there on Saturday. Until then, thanks for doing this.
All right, thanks a lot.
That's Pat McKeon of the Wellington Dukes, and we'll make a quick change here and bring in goaltender Jordan Ruby. And Jordan, obviously it's tough sometimes when you don't see a lot of action early in the game to stay sharp, but you did, because Seguin did come forward with some offense later in the game, and you were there to keep the team out in front. How do you stay sharp when you're not seeing a lot of action?
Well, it is what they say, 80% mental. You just got to do whatever you send on yourself or just focus. But you know that they're going to come strong in the third. That's what all teams do, and then you come off with a 25-shot, start off with a 5-shot game. So, you just got to stay strong to the end.
I think a lot of people, if they are goaltenders, they'd like to play for the Wellington Dukes, because the Dukes have always had such a tremendous defensive system, playing behind guys like Pat McKeon, David Pratt, just to name a couple of guys. How much easier does that make your job?
Oh, it makes it a lot easier. They first passes, they get out of the zone. They clear the rebounds nice. And just how Marty teaches it, just a nice structure system down low. So it's very helpful.
Looking forward toward the end of the season, obviously you're a team that's right up there again at the top of the East Division standings. What are you going to try to improve on and focus on over the remainder of the regular season heading into the playoffs?
Just winning those close games, because that's going to gear us up for playoffs, and just never quitting in the third period, because just that one shot, that can make a difference, and that can win a championship. So. Yep.
You've had some real good individual accolades so far this season, coming up from the Stratford Culletons and Junior B. Last year, you've made a seamless transition. How comfortable have you been so far in your first season of Junior A hockey, and how have you made the transition so smooth?
Right from August when I got up here for training camp, I felt comfortable right at home. It's a small town, just like where I'm from, Tavistock. But right away, then my billets are nice, and it starts from right there, just feeling comfortable. Then it carries over on the ice, and then on the ice, I'm just with a great bunch of guys and stuff. So it's just wonderful so far.
One more question for you. Playing in Wellington, the Dukes are known for their tremendous fan support, about 500 people out to every game, and a very vocal 500 at that. How much does playing behind an enthusiastic crowd help the team every day?
Well, playing against a big crowd, and at least when they're that enthusiastic, it's great. You get the score a goal, you get the big chuck runs going and the little cowbells when you make the big saves, and it just helps you and it just boosts up your confidence and just gets you going, adrenaline pumping. So it's great.
Well, it's certainly great going into Wellington to watch a game. I can't think of a better place to watch a game, and you guys, a great effort tonight. Thanks so much for doing this.
No, thank you.
That's Jordan Ruby and Pat McKeon earlier of the Wellington Dukes. We'll go now to a feature on the host team of the CCHL Showcase, the Newmarket Hurricanes, seen on Junior A today a couple of weeks ago, and we have it for you here again today as our coverage rolls on from the CCHL Showcase, all part of Hometown Hockey on Rogers TV.
Basically, if go back a few years, we had the Dudley Hewitt Cup, and we went for an older type hockey team with a lot of OHL guys. They'd come back, and we had a strong team. And then the following year, I think we had 4 guys come back, which was last season. And we just went with a bunch of young guys and focused on guys with a lot of skill. And we looked for some defensemen that could, play for a couple years, and some forwards. And then this year, basically we had 12 guys coming back, and we knew we had to fill some holes, and we had to get a little faster and a little stronger, and hopefully fill the net a bit more. And I think that's what's happened so far this year. I think our guys are really buying into what we're selling, and that's probably the biggest job as a coach, is to get them to buy in. And I think we're pretty responsible defensively, and it shows in our goals against. We create a lot of scoring chances. Unfortunately, we haven't scored as many as we wanted, but as long as we're keeping them out of our net, that's all that matters right now. I think if you start from the net out, I think both our goaltenders, Jimmy Sargent, who's in our second year with us, has played really well. And our rookie, Matt Winches, has also played well when he's played. And from there, I think we have a really good defense core with, that have 2 standout defensemen in Julian Marchiori and Joel Hanley. And they both have Division I scholarships for next season.
I try to be an offensive D more than a defensive D, but I still want to take care of my end of the ice, and we got a good D core, so it's easy to do that. I know we're doing well, so just trying to do whatever I can to help the team out.
We're a hard-working team, Starts from practice. Our coaches, we got us really disciplined, with our systems, and we're a tight group, so it really helps, It's definitely our hard work in practice, though. It starts there, and we carry it over into the games, and we got a lot of skilled players too, so definitely helps out. Being on the ice, you just get better every time. That's how you get better, just especially as being a goaltender, facing that rubber, seeing it all the time, stopping it, being comfortable, making those saves, for sure.
Well, ice time is great, right? There's nothing better than getting on the ice with the team and stuff. It for sure keeps your game up to par, and can't go wrong there. And we're winning, so it's working, I guess, right?
Matt, he's obviously a solid goaltender, right? And I went down earlier this year with a concussion. I was out for a few games, and he stood in there solid back there. He played really well. I think he brings a lot of confidence to the boys as well, because they know if I'm not playing, he's going to step in there and play well, make the stops he should, and even sometimes the stops he shouldn't be making, he's making them. So, he just brings extra insurance to the team.
And then up front we have, Chad Sumption returning, and he just secured a scholarship to Bowling Green, and he's, our team captain, he's a great leader.
On the ice, my roles are probably, I think I'm here to contribute offensively. I think I'm doing a pretty good job of that so far. I don't know, I think I'm a role player as well. I've been playing in all situations on the power play and the penalty kill as well. So obviously the special teams in the game now are a big part of it. So that's a big focus, I guess, of my own, and as far as helping the team out.
Our team's doing real well, and one of the reasons why that is recently we just had 10 goals that we're trying to reach each game, and some of those goals are just like power plays, penalty kills, hits, block shots, so it keeps us in line as a team. And so if we reach all those 10 goals, then we're fine, but if we don't reach 1 goal, then it's a 5-minute bag skate in practice. So that's been keeping us in line, and it's been helping us play better on the ice, so that's helped a lot.
The team itself has 10 goals they have for every game that they're trying to reach, and I think that helps us with certain situations where we're creating a lot of offense, but we're not scoring a lot of goals. But the guys are determined to have X number of hits, block shots, keep our goals against down. Our save percentage for the goalies is a certain level, and I think that we have to keep progressing that way and stay focused and not get too far ahead of ourselves. And I know it's an old cliche, 1 game at a time, but our guys really have to do that. I really think everyone's goal is to get the RBC, but sometimes you have to manage your expectations, and I think right now that our goal right now is to try and be in first place and see where we are at the end of the season. And our whole philosophy for the team this year is, we're building, for game first game of the playoffs. So, everyone's playing right now. And I guess you could say it's an audition for, how you're going to play in the playoffs. And that's what we like to see. The guys are playing hard, and hopefully we can continue it and everyone keeps pushing each other.
And that was a good feature there on the host team of the CCHL Showcase, the Newmarket Hurricanes. You'll see them a little bit later on in the week. Joining me now is Chris Marinakis from the Seguin Bruins. And Chris, first time coming up against the Wellington Dukes so far this season, a 6-2 loss. What can you take away from this game in terms of what you witnessed from a pretty good team from the top of the East Division?
Yeah, they're a strong team. They came out flying. They came throwing the body around, and we were expected that. We wanted to prepare ourselves, kind of mentally, and just try and calm ourselves down that we're playing the top team on the other division, and we lost focus there and came to play for 50 minutes, and you have to play a 60-minute game.
Russ Harrington, our color analyst upstairs in the booth, said during the first period to him it seemed like you guys were sitting back a little bit and watching more so than playing. Would you agree with that statement?
Yeah, just obviously they're first place team and we haven't played them. That was our first meeting against them, and we didn't know what to expect, and it was just one of those things that we sat back in the first period and they capitalized in the first 10 minutes, and from there we were on our heels, and we just had to go forward from there. So
it really seemed like Wellington was putting forth a concentrated effort of making sure you guys didn't have any speed at all through the neutral zone and that you wouldn't be able to carry the puck into the defensive zone. You had to dump it in. How difficult is it to play it under those kind of circumstances when you can't really use your speed and you have to try and win battles down low?
Yeah, it's frustrating. I mean, especially being a smaller guy like myself, it's battling against guys that are 6'1", 6'2". So just again being mentally prepared and winning every battle is key in this game, and just trying to keep our feet moving and dumping the puck in and beating them to the race. So.
Looking forward toward the end of the year, obviously the playoffs are almost out of reach for your team at this point, but there's still a lot to be gained and a lot to be learned. And I think one of the great things about your team so far this year has been the fact that you guys have been in a lot of games and you've played a full 60 minutes. As the captain, what kind of things do you tell the guys to make sure they're arriving and ready to play every game?
Just keep going. You never know who's watching. I mean, you could be the last place team, you could be the first place team. Everyone's watching you, and just come out to play every game and win. Like I said, win battles, and just try and do everything right. Just try and make it easy for ourselves and just play a simple game.
Just from the standpoint of the locker room, are guys still making sure that they are keeping a positive mindset, or are you starting to see some guys get a little bit negative at this point in the year?
Yeah, we've been negative some throughout the year, and just like I said, I've been trying to keep them positive, and the coaching staff is trying to keep them positive, and they're great teammates and they know how to be positive. So we're just trying to get the negative out of the way and keep going for the new year.
All right, well, I appreciate you coming on even after a tough loss. Thanks so much. Thanks a lot. That's Chris Marinakis, the captain of the Seguin Bruins. For final thoughts on the contest this afternoon between the Dukes and the Bruins, upstairs we go to Steve and Russ. Steve.
Thank you very much, Dave. And the last question that those two discussed was just negative energy in the locker room. As a former junior A coach, you've probably seen this. When things aren't going your way, it's tough to stay positive. But for Seguin, you take the little things out of this game.
I think you do. I think you can sell your team on the fact that you scored the last 2 goals of the game. You can sell the team on the fact that you outshot them in the third period. I think you can sell the team on the fact that, you seem to have more energy at the end of the game. All those things, you have to do your job as a coach to convince your players to keep showing up and playing hard for you. And those are things that you should look at if you're part of the staff with the Seguin Bruins, or you're one of the captains. Like Marinakis said, part of his job is to make sure that everybody stays positive in the dressing room. And the big thing now is, it's got to be a pride thing. Do we really want to go down and get blown out every night? Do we really want to finish dead last where, if we put together a decent month, maybe we pass a couple teams in our division? Do we get to the playoffs? Well, maybe not, but if we're going to miss the playoffs, let's be the best of the teams that miss the playoffs. You have to do something to kind of refocus the guys and hope that they'll play on that pride. And, of course, everybody playing this level wants to play at the next level up. So if you get negative and shut it down at the end of December, you're not going to get that opportunity. And that's something else that selfishly, individually, you have to remind your players as well.
Opportunities came for the Wellington Dukes, and it all kicked off with 2 goals in that first period of play, and we're going to take a look at those first period highlights as we recap this game between Seguin and Wellington.
Well, it was pretty lopsided first period, but it was nothing up until this point when Zach Jones made it 1-0 on that turnover right in front of the Bruins net, and the physical play was shown every once in a while. That's a 3-on-1 body check there by the Bruins, but that didn't seem to help them very much in the first period, although Green, outside of that first goal, was pretty sharp in the period, making a number of saves, although he was beaten clean on this shot by Zarbo, but I don't think anybody stops that one as that goes up under the bar. That made it 2-0 at that point in time, and there really weren't any offensive chances. This might have been the best one in the first period, and they couldn't connect in tight on Ruby.
Now heading into the second period, just up 2-0. The coaching for the Wellington Dukes is a big thing. Marty Abrams makes sure, we've said it in the broadcast, these guys do not take a night off, a shift off, a period off, and 2 goals in the first. They come back with 2 more in the second, and you can walk us through those highlights as well.
Well, yeah, the domination continued for the most part in the second period, although I thought Seguin gave a better effort. They weren't watching in awe as much, but this play there, 3-on-0 chance that Green makes a save, then makes another real good save here on a 2-on-1, and he's holding them in it. And the Bruins really aren't creating any offense. There was a great defensive play by Jeremy Franklin, a shift before this goal, that made it 3-0, and at that point in time it was kind of over as the Dukes continued to pour it on. This little scramble near the net really was the only offensive pressure the Bruins had through the opening 40 minutes. Ruby there with a good save, and then this goal by Rossborough made it 4-0, and at that point it looked like the Wellington Dukes were going to cruise to a victory, which they did, but at the end of the period, Marinakis with a good effort there. That was the best scoring opportunity by the Bruins through 40 minutes, and Ruby with a good save, but that created the third period where the Bruins started with a power play and had an opportunity to kind of put a dent in things and maybe make a bit of a game of it, and unfortunately for them, they waited another 4 minutes until they kind of got going.
Well, we've talked about being Seguin and being down and trying just to get little positives out of thing and setting little goals and not the big goal in sight of winning a hockey game or tying a hockey game, just trying to get a goal or trying to kill off a penalty or whatever. But on Wellington's end, what type of goals are you trying to do heading into a third period where you're already up 4-0?
Well, I think you want to continue your domination. I think you say to your guys, look, we've played a solid game. Let's not make mistakes. Let's not create bad habits. Let's get a good kill to start off, which they did. And I felt up until the point where it went 6-0, you know, they really had their pedal to the metal, but then they kind of let off. And it's one of those ones where, heading into the room after the game, do you get mad at them because you kind of let off and you made dumb plays down the end that cost you 2 goals? Well, it's the first game back after Christmas, so you're probably not really going to tear into them, but that would be a slight area of concern, the fact that you got up 6 and then put it on cruise control.
Well, they got up 6, and we're going to see Wellington's final 2 goals of this hockey game as we take a look at the third period recap. Seguin's also tossed in here with a little bit of physical play as well.
Well, we had talked about the line of Zamek and Rudy and Franklin not getting any points, but they get some early in the third period. Zamek scoring shorthanded, and then Franklin with a nice pass on a 2-on-1 to make it 6-0 at that point in time. That's 3 and a change into the third period, and then that big hit by the Bruins maybe turned things around on a power play of their own. Their leading scorer, Harris, is able to break the goose egg. That made it 6-1 on a fairly soft play defensively on that shorthanded, and Green kept his end of the bargain going with a great save there. Harris with a good body check, and then towards the end of the game here, Marinakis makes it 6-2 as a shift where it was nothing but turnovers for the Wellington Dukes comes back to haunt them. as the final goal of the game goes to the Seguin Bruins.
Now moving forward, probably the last game or close to the last game in 2009 for these two hockey clubs. We're in the final stretch. 1 month and about 15 days to go. So 45 days overall until the playoffs take place, and the trade deadline's only about 2 weeks away. Does Wellington really need to make any adjustments in certain areas to prepare themselves for those playoffs? Because currently they sit first in the East, right?
Well, although they scored 6 goals today, I think goal scoring has to be a concern for them. They're very good defensively, but when you get to the playoffs, it's nice to be able to have goal scorers that can win you a 2-1 game or win you a 7-6 game, and I'm not sure they have that in their lineup. They're going to play a lot of low-scoring games, I think, in the playoffs, which is great, but especially when you cross over and you see a team like Burlington that have 220 goals already, they've got guys that can score, whether it's low scoring or high scoring, and I'm not sure Wellington can meet that. That's probably an area that they're going to go out and try and fix.
One area or one game I'd like to see is that Burlington-Wellington game, because you got the top in the East, the top in the West. It's always nice to see those guys, and it's always nice to see some of these big names continue to light up the league or continue to stick with teams. And one of the things we see all the time now is guys committing themselves to one team, as we said to Jeremy Franklin.
Yeah, Jeremy Franklin, 4 years with the Wellington Dukes. There's a number of players on that roster that have played with the Dukes for a long time. That says a lot about the organization.
For Russ Harrington and myself, Steve Colterman, we're going to wrap things up here, but send things down to Dave McCarthy.
For our coverage of Game 2 of our coverage on Day 1 of the competition, check RogersTV.com for more information on our continuing coverage of hometown hockey right here on Rogers TV. That's it for us. More hockey to come your way later in the week. My name's Dave McCarthy. Thanks for being with us. We'll talk to you again soon.